These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the friends in Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. I felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
It is a good thing that the precipitation outside is rain, because if it was as cold as it was last week, we'd be looking at a lot of snow, ladies and gentlemen. But all it is what will hopefully be harmless rain as we welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their floor model sale continues. All floor model patio sets are priced to move. Wicker sofa, closeout patio cushions, pool tables, theater seating, on and on and on. Check them out when you get an opportunity. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by our friends over at East Memphis Ace Hardware. As I mentioned, it's raining. It is going to be off and on throughout the day. We're looking at 49 degrees currently, with a high today of 55. Then tonight, overcast with rain showers at times, a low of 53. That chance of rain, 60%. And then for your Wednesday, occasional rain showers, once again with a high roaring up to 63 degrees tomorrow. Unfortunately, rain and not a sunny day, but that's what we got from Mother Nature. Well, I'll tell you, Siri, what we got. We got rain and lots of it. Coming up on the program today, Connor O'Gara joins us at 7:25, as he does every other week, to talk some college football. Jeff Crane at 8:25 from the University of Memphis. And then we'll have our weekly road segment with men's coach over at Rhodes, the men's basketball coach, Zoe Goodson. That'll be at 9:05. We got Humdinger's Trivia. That'll come your way to open up hour number 2 at about 8:05. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sports 56 listener lines at 901-360-8255. You can also send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, on the website, sportsmemphis.com. The Grizzlies pick up a win last night on the road. We will discuss that. And it was a crazy night in the NBA, some record-setting performances. The Tigers remain in the top 25 poll. We were wondering about that. We'll go over that on the program. Talk a little NFL. There was a college basketball firing yesterday, and it looks like the Titans have their man as their new head coach to lead them into 2024 and beyond. Just some of the topics we'll talk about on the program today. How are you?
I'm good.
Most of the ice is gone.
Yeah, pretty much all of it.
Still a few patches when I was coming in, but most of that is going to the wayside as we speak, with the rain coming down as it is.
Or these damn kids can get back to school.
Are they back to school today? Please
Yes.
tell me they are. Okay,
Yes.
Good. Look, I tweeted it out yesterday. I don't know why, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt with buses and liability and all that. Okay, no school. But there were places yesterday, I don't even get it. Like getting a haircut. What? Nobody's there? They're not open? Why? Doctor's appointments. Forget about it, man. What? Come on. What's the deal here? I mean, you don't have to go to your appointment if you feel that it is not safe. Cancel. And the problem is you call up, you can't get through to cancel the appointment or to change the appointment. So that I thought we'd be back to normal yesterday, and I was planning on doing a lot of errands yesterday, and that was curtailed by, again, people not working. So today, hopefully, I could do that, and it will be the case that people are back to work and we're back to some normalcy. But my gosh, I can't even imagine if the ice was with us for 3 weeks, for a month. What would happen? I know in this day and age, people, and a lot of them younger people, will use any excuse in the world to get out of work. Now, I know some of those days last week were bad, and they didn't want to drive in it, and I understand. You're not used to driving in the ice and snow, but my gosh, I mean, you got to make a paycheck. Businesses have to make money, I would think. But I was told, well, the liability outweighs the productivity of the company and the money that, what? I mean, that's what we're living in, a society where we're going to worry about lawsuits, for goodness sakes. I mean, it should be it's your own risk. If you don't feel safe, don't go out. If not, go out. Just leave the businesses open. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Last night, the Grizzlies went into Toronto, Canada, your favorite country in the world, knocked off the Raptors 108-100. When I was talking about this game yesterday on the show, and I said it was a 7.5-point spread, I don't know why. I just thought that was way too much. And not only were the odds makers in Vegas off on this one, they had the wrong team. Wrong team favored. Grizzlies didn't need no stinking 7.5 points. They win by 8. And the lead was much larger than that. It ended up 8. They improved to 16-27 on the season. Jaren Jackson Jr., who has been feasting on teams offensively without Desmond Bane, without Ja Morant, goes for 27 and has 6 steals. So he did it on both ends. Luke Kennard, 19, or was that 17? No, it was 19. 19 points and 7 assists. And Vince Williams Jr., congratulations, Vinny, his first double-double. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds. Also, you had Jitty with 5 blocks. Where did that come from? Guess he found his inner Malco. And then David Roddy chipped in with 8 points and 10 rebounds. So guys that would be coming off the bench, guys that would be deep in the rotation, guys that wouldn't even be in the rotation, contributing last night. Taylor Jenkins said before the game he's still searching for chemistry. Well, there was chemistry last night.
Yeah, impressive wire to wire. It kind of gets a little bit of, I guess, revenge because the Toronto game at home was the worst performance of the year. It was just a pathetic performance. That's when they actually had guys playing and lost to that team. Here at home, the 6 steals in the first quarter by Jared, that's like that's amazing to get 6 steals in a quarter.
I had no idea they were all in a quarter
of an NBA game.
I had no idea they were all in one quarter. That's got to be a franchise record, right?
Yeah, it was. He said it. What did Pete say?
Zach, do you know that?
It was the most
6 steals
the first time somebody's had
quarter?
6 steals in any quarter since. But I don't remember what he said. I don't remember what Pete said. They had the number of when it was the last time somebody had 6 steals in any quarter in the NBA. Who the heck was it? The points and steals combination in a quarter, like only Eric Bledsoe, I believe, had ever done it in NBA history.
Wow.
With at least 6 steals and 15 points or something like that in a quarter. And I can't remember. I think there was 2 or 3 guys who had 6 steals in a quarter in NBA history. But it was just bizarre. Like every time they came down, somehow Jaren Jackson Jr. stole the ball from them. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what we take out of any of these games with this team. But if you might as well win some of the games. It's nice to win some of the games. You don't want to lose all of them. So go out there, and when you're playing some other bad teams, it's nice to get a win.
It is. I just like watching that Jaren Jackson Jr. where he doesn't settle too much for the three. He's going to shoot the three. It's part of his arsenal. And it's part of the flow of the offense of the team if he gets open threes. But he was 2 of 5, that's fine. But he was 12 of 22 overall, so he's scoring in the paint. He's getting to the hole. He's using his size. He's using his athleticism. 4 rebounds. He could do better, and he has this year at times. But 6 steals, as we talked about, 5 assists as well. Just a great all-around game for Jaren Jackson Jr. But you had the contributions from everyone. Again, Jitty with 6 blocks. Are you kidding me? He also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And Vince Williams just gets better and better. 7 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Luke Kennard doing what Luke Kennard does well, and that's shoot the ball. 5 of 13 from 3, 7 of 18 overall. He had 19 points. They got good support from the bench. G.G. Jackson played 21 minutes, had 7 points, 3 of 5 shots. He hits a high percentage of his shots because he doesn't take foolish shots. He gets 5 rebounds as well. David Roddy, I mentioned, 8 points. I have it down for 10 rebounds, but I think the box score says 9 rebounds, so maybe they took one away, but 8 points, 9 rebounds. Just a good overall performance. Now they go to Miami. They'll play the Heat tomorrow night, and then back home on Friday against Orlando. There isn't, as you said, there's not, what are you going to get excited about this? They're going nowhere. We understand that. But just to win some wars within the big battle, meaning winning some games within the battle of this season, which has been a struggle from the get-go because of injury, you can only imagine in your mind how good this team, how competitive they would have been with all their pieces. And it's sad to think about a wasted year. But that's exactly what it is. I guess now the question is, will there be any sort of move made before the deadline?
You know, I was thinking, and certainly there's not, you don't make moves for this year because there's really no moves to be made. So everything's about the future and whether you want to clear some roster space or whatever, going towards the future. And I do wonder, Luke Kennard is under, you've got a team option on Luke Kennard next year, but I would think there will be teams, just like the Grizzlies last year, who will want a guy who can knock down threes at the trade deadline. Do you move Luke Kennard this year if some team, again, wants an extra shooter? Because right now, again, he's he's over 50%, he's at 55%, the last, I remember 7-8 games. That dude is just on an unbelievable tear from 3-point range. Would you part with Luke Kennard, or would you rather keep him because, again, you've got him next year on a team option, which is a very affordable $14 million?
Yeah, see, that's being discussed. There's no question there are a number of teams that could use his services, and that will be talking to the Grizzlies. But what are you getting in return? Why are you going to give up an asset like Luke Kennard when you have a team option for next year when really this is you're just passing the time now until next season? How, if this team is back to full strength, and knock on wood that that's the case, how would you not want to have that weapon coming off the bench? So again, what do you get in return for Luke Kennard? Teams, no question, will want him. But I don't know if I don't just roll with keeping Luke for next season to see what happens with what will be, again, knock on wood, a healthy team. Why would you give away that asset?
Yeah, I don't.
Are they worried about salary for next year? Is that what the question is?
No, he's an asset that somebody might really want, and you might be able to get something. You might be able to get something for him. The other guys you aren't getting anything for. Nobody really cares about having them.
No. I understand. What are you getting? What are you going to get in return? You know what? So a bunch of salary dumps and second round picks. I don't know what you're going to get. Your question is a good one because I think there's no question in my mind. There's multiple teams out there that are going, yeah, we can use that guy. If he's expendable, if they want to get rid of him, we'll take him off their hands. But I don't know. I think you want to put this one, you want to freeze everything and start again. Let's fast forward to September and October, camp opening up, everybody's healthy. Adams plays through the preseason games and into the regular season. Brandon Clark, who knows if he'll play any this year. There's a possibility he could. Everybody else is healthy. And then you have all your weapons. Why would you give away the weapon if you're not getting something really good in return? But I don't even know what you would want in return. Right now, they're using this time to basically come to a conclusion, in my opinion, of what is going to work down the road and what's not going to work. And even though some of these guys are under contract, you may have to dump. If you're looking at replacing whoever it may be, LaRavia, he's under contract for another year. You dump the salary. If you need a spot to fill, to put somebody in there that you're eyeing, that you want to go after. So, but again, I don't know all the finances. That's not my thing. I don't know where they are as far as the cap is concerned. But something that certainly what they do now is they have time. They have time to digest everything about this team and to get a better understanding about some of these fringe players, whether or not they're going to be a part of the future or not. All right, elsewhere in the NBA last night, I don't know what was in the water last night, but we had some huge offensive performances. First of all, you had Joel Embiid, the reigning NBA most valuable player, go off in the Sixers win over the Spurs, 133-123. He goes for 70 points, a 70-burger with 18 rebounds and 5 assists. That eclipses Wilt Chamberlain's all-time Sixers record. Now remember, Wilt had the 100-point game as a member of the Philadelphia Warriors. They moved out to San Francisco. So, and then became the Golden State Warriors. That's not part of the Sixers. The Sixers, it was 68 by Wilt. Embiid passes it with 70. Overshadows Victor Wembanyama, who went for 33 and 7. That's a footnote. 70 points for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know if you know that or not.
This just in.
He's averaging 36 a game now, I believe. This was the anniversary, or last night was the anniversary of Kobe's 81-point game.
18 years ago.
So something about that date, I don't know. But he does some crazy stuff. But 70 points with only one three-pointer made is like in today's world of basketball at all. That amazes me that you would score. You could score 70 with only making one three-pointer.
Will he repeat as MVP?
Certainly has a chance to. There's a lot of good candidates out there, though. I mean, just last night, it was like Kevin Durant last night had 43 in a game winner. Like, yeah, dude,
right?
Leave us alone. Get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't even put him in my notes.
Giannis triple-double, Luka triple-double, like massive numbers. Like, yeah, no. Sorry. Scratch. Get out. You ain't got nothing.
You can have amazing discussions about the best player in the NBA and use Giannis as an example, use Jokic as an example, throw in Doncic. Some still think Durant, even though I don't think so. Steph, even though he's lost a little bit of the fastball. You can argue and certainly make valid points, but Joel Embiid, to me, is the best player in the NBA.
Durant was funny. He came in for his press conference, and they said something. Somebody said that they asked, "Did you see that that Embiid went for 70?" And he was like, it's just funny to see a player like that who's awesome, and again, who's coming off a 43-point performance, and he was just like blown away. He's like 70. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like it's just so you think about it as the normal fan, the guy who's out there doing it and who's great at it is still like blown away by somebody getting 70.
But last night was a perfect example of it's not always a great night when an individual player goes off, because in the Sixers case, they won the game by 10. So everybody's all smiles and congratulating Embiid. But for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they blew an 18-point lead to the lowly Charlotte Hornets and lose 128-125 on a night when Karl Anthony Towns goes for 62 points, eclipsing his previous record of 60, his personal record. He goes for 62. But in the fourth quarter, with the game on the line, he goes 2 of 10 from the field for just 4 points. He turns the ball over late in the game. He was short on a 3-point attempt on the final possession. Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch lit into his team in the post-game press conference, calling it an absolute disgusting performance of defense and immature basketball. He went on to criticize how the Timberwolves responded to Towns' hot start, saying they stopped looking to make the right play. I mean, there's lots of times when just because you've scored 2 or 3 or 4 points in a row or baskets in a row, you know obviously we're going to try to feed a hot hand, look for a hot hand. But at some point, we got to get back to making the right play. We got to get back to doing the right things. Selfish basketball. Does that ring a bell around here? Selfish basketball. So on a night where he scores 62, it wasn't all glory and happiness and smiles in Minnesota.
Yeah, like that's for Minnesota, who was, I think, 17-3 at home going into last night, and Charlotte had like 5 road wins on the year. And you got a guy go for 62. Like, the idea of losing that game is pretty amazing. Now, he got absolutely hammered on the drive to the basket that would have given them the lead, the possession before the last one. Like, his arm got nearly taken off. How they missed that call, I don't know. The 3-point at the buzzer is basically a fade away from the logo. That is what it is. But yeah, like they took him out of the game in the fourth quarter because it's just weird. Like, guys got 62 points, and they're like, I know we got to get him out of the game. It's causing problems. We need a better lineup than the guy who has 62 points in the game. It's a bizarre thing.
So should Chris Finch get criticism? Yesterday we had folks that were criticizing Penny, and understandably so, for throwing the team under the bus, not individual players. Finch is throwing the team under the bus here, but he's pointing a lot of fingers at Karl Anthony Towns, too, for being a little bit selfish, and then the players being too much, just kind of letting him do his thing and not playing in a team concept. Should Finch catch crap? These are professional athletes now. You don't see that much anymore in this day and age of that criticism against a team like that, especially when a guy has an individual performance like he did.
No, I don't think Chris Finch at all should. I mean, he pointed out what he didn't like about this game and why they lost, where the guy scored 62 points.
Okay. There'll be people that'll massacre him. There is no question about it. I think he's fine. I think coaches should be able to say whatever the hell they want.
It's a way different situation than Penny's situation, but I mean it.
Yeah, but it's still selfishness. And at the core with the Tigers, it's selfishness. And at the core of last night's game in Minnesota, according to Chris Finch, it was selfishness. All right, a couple of other things real quick before we take our first time out. And Connor O'Gara joins us on the other side. From the NFL world, looks like we have our first hire of these big names that are out there, but this one not as big a name, obviously, as Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll and Mike Vrabel and Jim Harbaugh, but he is a sought-after coach, and now he's a head coach, and that is Brian Callahan. He was the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati with the Bengals, and now, according to reports, Adam Schefter reporting first last night, they are finalizing details in Nashville, and he will become the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan going with a offensive mind. I love the hire. Callahan, and everything I've read about Callahan, he is so well respected, and it's an offensive. Look, I like Vrabel, and I wouldn't have fired Vrabel, but I love the fact they're going with an offensive-minded coach.
Obviously, he's growing up around the game with his dad, being a coach, and so even though he's not a real experienced guy, he's wasn't a coordinator until he got to Cincinnati, but he's been there since 2019. But he had worked previously as a quarterbacks coach, where he's worked with Matt Stafford with the Lions. He worked with Derek Carr with the Raiders. Now, obviously, he has been working with Joe Burrow. So certainly, if for a team that has a young quarterback in Will Levis that they want to develop, going and getting a guy who has a pretty decent track record with quarterbacks, probably a smart move.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the rest of the openings, but I expect more than likely all of them to be filled by this weekend. I really do believe there are now face-to-face interviews going on. Some of the candidates getting their second interview. I would think that things start to move along with all these franchises, and everybody's keeping an eye on what's going on with Atlanta and certainly with the Chargers, because you got Bill Belichick in play with the Falcons at least, and Jim Harbaugh in play with both the Chargers and the Falcons. We got plenty of basketball.
We have some coaches who are going to be coaching this weekend that are going to be getting some of these jobs. So
yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. So maybe it'll linger into next week. But I think before too long, I'm not saying that this starts a domino effect, this hiring of Brian Callahan, but I would think that this week, because you can get the face-to-face interviews with at least those who are not coaching this weekend, that there's more of a chance that there'll be some hirings coming up in the next few days. We'll talk Tigers a little bit later on in the show as they remain in the poll and remain in the top 20, which may be a little surprising to most. We'll go over the poll. We'll also talk about the David Jones situation in New Orleans, what Tulane had to say about that, and Jerry Palm's latest bracketology that came out yesterday. JP will join us on the show tomorrow, but we will discuss that a little bit later on in the program, plus plenty more college football news, and we'll talk football. We'll talk SEC football. We'll do so with Connor O'Gara when we return. Do want to tell you folks about Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084, online at newroofmemphis.com. Pinnacle has been with us for years and years and years, and we thank them for being a part of our program, a part of our station. And it's because of folks like you. You have heeded my advice, and you have called Brandon. You have gotten new roofs, and you've gotten roofs fixed, and you've gotten restoration around the home from Pinnacle, locally owned and operated company. If financing is an issue for you, they offer different plans and options, including a 6, a 12, an 18-month, same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof fixed or to get that new roof. Residential and commercial roofing, they do. Not just homeowners, not just homes. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners, property managers, listen up, obviously homeowners as well. They will come out and do a free roof inspection. Just give them a call. They'll come out and do that free roof inspection. Don't forget about the $100 referral fee for all new roofs. So you know somebody who needs that new roof, you refer Pinnacle. Pinnacle will give you $100 for that referral if they get the new roof. They do work around the home. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. They can install shingles. Brandon's a certified shingle installer. If you get that new roof, you get a 5-year labor warranty on the roof, and all their work satisfaction guaranteed. If you have an issue, just call Pinnacle back up. They will take care of that and make sure it is right for you. Again, locally owned and operated, Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon today. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, 901-438-5084, or online at newroofmemphis.com. Connor O'Gara is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
There have been times when all seemed dark, when it seemed night would last forever. Souls wandered the earth in search of something satisfying, something fulfilling. And then, when all seemed lost, dawn broke, and it was sunrise. At last the people had their dream realized. They could have not just breakfast, or lunch, or even 11sies, but they could have them served fast and fresh and made just for them. At last, at long last, the cock has crowed.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Wrapping up a couple of wrecks out here. One at Germantown Parkway at Walnut Grove. Also 240 northbound, moving a little bit better than it was there at South Parkway. You got all the heavy traffic coming 240 northbound right now, trying to get up through the Midtown area. We're still concerned about some of these back roads and side streets, so be careful this morning. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It is never an off season when it comes to college football. And fortunately, every other week we get to talk about it, specifically about the SEC, with Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com and SaturdayTradition.com. Here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
It is Connor O'Gara. As I mentioned, every other Tuesday he joins us here on Sports 56 Mornings all year long. You can read all his terrific stories at Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. Follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. How are you?
Gentlemen, doing well. 2 weeks since national championship has been in the books. Nothing has really happened. Not a whole lot going on in our sport. Everything's good.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. We obviously are waiting with bated breath about Harbaugh. I'll get your thoughts on that in a second. But I did want to get your thoughts on the move by Ross Bjork. Goes from Ole Miss to Texas A&M to Ohio State, becomes their AD. Yesterday, R.C. Slocum, the former football coach, was named the interim head coach at Texas A&M. I'm not sure if you have any idea what direction they're going to go in to fill that position. But Ross goes to Ohio State, and things seem to be going pretty well right now for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's been a strange 3 weeks for them. I mean, think about all the questions that we had about Ohio State coming off of what was just a disastrous showing in the Cotton Bowl. And that defense is legit. So I shouldn't say it was disastrous across the board. But there are people who cover the program that are like, I haven't had this many questions about Ohio State in a long time, maybe since Tattoo-gate. And here they are a few weeks later in this world of NIL and transfer portal with a roster that returned so many key contributors. I mean, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, it seemed like dude after dude is coming back. They've got 9 starters back on that defense. And then, oh, by the way, you dip into the portal, you add the likes of Quinshon Judkins, who's going to be a preseason All-American, Caleb Downs, who's going to be a preseason All-American, Will Howard, who might be one of the best 2 quarterbacks from the portal. You get Seth McLaughlin, who may or may not be able to snap a football next year, TBD on that. But you make move after move. And then Julian Sayin, the 5-star quarterback from Bama, your quarterback of the future. It's been just, I haven't even named all the moves, the Bill O'Brien move. Like, Ohio State has just been doing everything they possibly can to make sure that this is a title or bust type year for Ryan Day, especially as he enters his first season with a new boss.
Yeah, and that's for Ryan Day. Like, what does he have to do? Does he have to beat Michigan? Does he just have to make the playoff? What do you think he has to do this year?
I think if he doesn't win a national championship, his days are numbered. Now, his days might be numbered from the standpoint of like, all right, well, if he gets to a national championship and they lose a close game or something like that, then it's like, okay, he comes back next year, but then next year you're going to have so much turnover. Like, this is a win-now team. And the way that they have spent in the portal, there's been debate about the number that was thrown out there. Ryan Day said a couple years ago to Cleveland.com that $13 million was the number that it was going to take to keep intact. There's been debate about if that number is what it's going to, what is the price for this group. But there is so much of a win-now feel for this team because they're going to lose a ton of pieces off of this roster. And if you can get past Michigan, yes, that's all well and good, but it's still Ohio State. It's about winning national championships. We're a decade removed now from their last title. And at Ohio State, a place with 17 finishes in the top 10 in the last 19 seasons, it's about winning championships. And so this is as much of a title or bust type season as I can remember for a head coach. And I don't care if it's, $35 million for the buyout. His new boss is the guy that just signed up to pay a $77 million buyout to Jimbo Fisher. So that number doesn't really matter a whole lot.
To me, that's what's funny about him leaving. Like, you do this whole thing, and then you're like, all right, you guys deal with it. I'm going to Ohio State. you figure out how to pay him. I'm gone.
I think, like, if you gave Ross Bjork truth serum, and he's never going to admit this, and he's going to say, everything in Ohio State is what you would want it to be. That's what he said about Texas A&M. And I think to a certain extent, it's a dream to be an athletic director at a place like Texas A&M, where you know that money is just not an option. Clearly, it's not an option. But can you imagine how difficult that would be to ask for the money needed to sign off on this buyout for Jimbo Fisher, this historic buyout that was 3.5 times the richest buyout ever paid for a head football coach in this sport not to work. And then having to go back to those same people and be like, we actually need some more money. We need money to be able to do this. That would be brutal. He just wanted to get out of an awkward conversation as far as I'm concerned. And that's why he's like, hey, let's go to Ohio State and let's talk to some different people with rich pockets.
All right, we're going to get to the SEC in a moment, your expertise, but your expertise is all of college football. So I got another Big Ten question for you. With Harbaugh and still contemplating the NFL, I said this yesterday, I know a lot about the Ohio State roster. I don't know as much about Michigan. I know Corum's going to the NFL. I know McCarthy's going to the NFL. If Harbaugh stays, what type of roster does he have to try to defend the title? And then if he leaves, it's 30 days for those players, those commitments to decide whether they want to continue on to Michigan or go somewhere else. Do you think it'll be a mass exodus?
I don't know that it'll be a mass exodus if they hire Sharon Moore. That's the difference.
Okay. Yeah.
See, they have an internal option that could allow some of that roster to stay intact. Now, they're going to lose some key pieces. They will return Mason Graham up front. That guy was just awesome in the playoff. I mean, the defensive tackle who was just such a difference maker for that team. They're going to lose a ton of pieces no matter what. So Michigan's floor is missing the 12-team playoff. Like that is a realistic floor. TBD on what it looks like with the 30-day window and how that all sets up. But it wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, these guys just won a national championship. Like we talk about in pro sports all the time. That's when these guys go out and they get their big free agent contracts. Say, now is my time to be able to get paid after you win a title. And that's why it's so hard to keep those rosters intact. So, yes, it will be a team that, in my opinion, won't be picked to win the Big Ten. It will be behind the likes of Ohio State. It'll be behind Oregon. Like that is the new world that Michigan is living in. And, look, you said contemplating the NFL. Is Harbaugh really contemplating the NFL? His mind is made up. If he's done 3 consecutive years of interviewing for NFL positions, and he's interviewing for multiple jobs right now as a current college head coach, his mind is made up. He wants to go to the NFL. It's just a matter of whether or not the NFL wants him.
Yeah, if you're taking second interviews with multiple teams, like it seems like yes, you're trying to get you're trying to get one of those jobs.
But he's making sure that the situation at Michigan, if he does stay for whatever reason, is about as beneficial to him as possible, with the whole deal about not being penalized if they are hit by the NCAA with any type of penalty, which they probably will be. I mean, he's making sure to insulate himself from everything just in case he stays.
I don't know that I don't know that that's going to make or break his decision. I really don't. Like, it'd be one thing if he was just doing these interviews for the first time. If this was the first off season where he's contemplated that, we would connect the dots and say, you know what, he's trying to get. This this is just Pete Carroll all over again. That's what this is. And instead, this is a situation where he has interviewed 3 consecutive off seasons, and clearly the itch to get back to the NFL is still there, and it's one that he wants to scratch. So I don't know how much that's factoring into his decision. And he's the most competitive dude there is. You can tell him that he's going to have this sanction and that sanction, and you'd be like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. I don't know how much that's really going to make a difference. It's about what he wants, and what he wants his next 10, 15 years to look like.
So you mentioned their floor is missing the 12-team playoff. Again, there's still plenty of time to go here throughout this offseason. But right now, what would you say the floor for Alabama is for next season?
I think you have to say the floor is missing the playoff. I think the expectation should be making the playoff. I think that is clear. I don't think it's fair to say, like we're talking about with Ryan Day, that it's title or bust, and that's what Kalen DeBoer needs to do. Year one coaches, I went back and looked at it, I'm like, gosh, how many year one coaches have had title or bust expectations? Probably have to go back to Larry Coker 2001 at Miami to really come up with a good example of that. But I do think that it's fair to set that expectation, because, look, it is still a program that, even though it is going through a significant change, it's still a roster that's had enough talent to be able to have 13 consecutive 11-win seasons. That's not nothing. And you have a coach in Kalen DeBoer who is 12-2 against AP top 25 teams. You guys that Kalen DeBoer has more wins against the AP top 25 than Lane Kiffin, and he's been a head coach for a third of the time. Think about that. This guy has handled himself against quality competition. It might be a transition year. Guess what? It was a transition year for Kirby Smart. Transition year 1 for Nick Saban. Transition year 1 for Urban Meyer. For all these great coaches. We've seen this happen repeatedly over the course of history. So if they go through a 9-3, a 10-2, it doesn't mean that he is destined to fail. It just means that the year ones are usually difficult, and especially now in this era with 30-day window and portal and NIL and all those different things, it's tougher than ever for a coach to step in and be able to actually establish a team and a foundation that looks like it's at championship level.
We've talked about the possibility of 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC. We've talked about it with you and other folks. What would it kind of look like if Michigan and Bama both missed out on the 12-team playoff? What are we looking at here? You mentioned that you think Ohio State and Oregon will be preseason picks ahead of Michigan. But give me kind of the results that you think would happen in the SEC. Who would be in over them to make the playoff to keep Michigan and Alabama out?
Well, I think if you're 9-3, you can't assume anything, right? I think the magic number is 10. The magic number is get to 10 wins by any means necessary. That's going to be the benchmark that some of these programs look at. And if you kind of take a glance at Michigan's upcoming schedule, they have Texas in non-conference play. Michigan hasn't played diddly squat in non-conference play in recent memory in the 2020s. And they have that Texas matchup against the Texas team that returns a ton of talent. And in my opinion, is worthy of being preseason top 3. So you have that. You obviously have the Big Ten schedule, the all-important showdown against an Ohio State team that's been building to this, that you would think, man, if not now, then when, especially with that game being in Columbus. But Bama, it's pretty simple. Bama's schedule is tricky. It's not the trickiest, but they have 3 difficult road games. They still have Tennessee, LSU on the road. It's still a matchup with Georgia in the regular season that Bama's going to be an underdog. So if Bama's 9-3, that's the path. And maybe a Georgia, Texas, those teams are considered more locks, and then Tennessee is going to be part of that conversation, I think, as well. But yeah, there's definitely a world in which those teams are like, hey, we're 3rd or 4th or 5th even in our own conference, and we're looking up, and we're just not one of those elite teams.
And Sankey will still lobby for them to be in.
Look, man, he does it better than anybody.
The best.
Everybody clowns on the SEC for having this conference pride and stuff like that. You do not see that in other conferences in a boisterous way. And everybody clowned on him for saying, one of these things is not like the other. He actually brought up the stat that I had from my tweet about the cost of getting into the conference championships that weekend and how lopsided it was. Look, some people are going to hate on it. Others are going to point to a guy that knows what he's doing. And it'd be weird if we didn't talk about, the SEC's dominance in the postseason, and as Greg Sankey wasn't the most vocal person about that.
Yeah, good point.
When are they going to make it official that they go to the 5-7 thing for the 12-team playoff?
I keep waiting on that. It's going to happen. there's no world in which we don't, right?
Yeah, I don't. There's no way they're giving 2 spots to basically the group of 5. So I don't understand why it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to hammer out what exactly that looks like, because I know they were working through some of the legal TV stuff with Oregon State and Washington State, figuring out what exactly that was all going to break down to be. But it's going to be 5-7. Like it has to be with the 5 auto bids, 1 for a group of 5, 4 for the other power conferences. I think the biggest adjustment is not saying Power 5 anymore. Like that for me is going to be really, really weird.
Well, and that's what I was wondering. I was like, I guess that, I don't understand the whole Pac-12-2 situation, that theoretically there is still a Pac-12 even though there's not. So I guess there probably is a lot of legal stuff when you consider that was one of the conferences that theoretically still exists but doesn't actually still exist.
Yeah, the name still exists, but there's no conference, there's no teams to back it up to be a Pac-12. So we can get rid of that from our from our vocabulary. We don't have to be saying a Power 5 nor a Pac-12. I mean, it's there, but it's not really there. All right, final question for you, Connor. I asked this to another guest yesterday. If you take Ohio State out of the mix, I got to think we all believe Ohio State's had the best offseason. Who's had the best offseason to this point?
Ooh, I'm going to say Georgia, despite the fact that Georgia missed out on the Caleb Downs sweepstakes to Ohio State. But, kind of quietly keeping Glenn Schumann on board, keeping Carson Beck and getting him to return for another year. I look at that, and I think that's going to set him up really well, with also the addition of Trevor Etienne, the Florida running back, who, in my opinion, is set up for great success this year, could be an all-SEC running back, and then a defense that, man, might be closer to 2021 than people realize. Like, Ohio State and Georgia should have the 2 best defenses in the country, bar none, and I think that they're really, really set up, and especially with the obvious, Nick Saban retiring. I mean, Kirby's 1-5 against Nick Saban. Like, nobody benefited more from Alabama not being Nick Saban's Alabama more than Georgia. So to me, those are the teams. I would put LSU up there as well, with all the defensive staff overhaul that we saw in Baton Rouge by Brian Kelly. I think some great moves made there. But I would say that Georgia is kind of that next team up. Are
Georgia and Texas the only 2 possible picks to win the SEC next year? Like, everybody should vote for one of those 2?
You're probably right. That's what it's going to come down to. I don't think there's going to be as many on the Bama side, and I think that Oklahoma's a little bit too fringe. There might be a couple that throw in there for Tennessee. LSU could also make some noise.
Ole Miss will get a couple. I guarantee Ole Miss gets a couple of votes.
They will, but the fact that they've never made it to Atlanta is going to prevent some from saying that they're going to win the conference. Now, order finished, probably second to third is where you'll see more momentum for that, but I don't think you'll see them quite on the level of Georgia and Texas to win the conference.
The great Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Catch him every other Tuesday talking with us, so we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thank you, Connor. Good stuff. Ace is great stuff.
It is. Ace always has great stuff. East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince. Of course, the Big Green Egg, that's great stuff. And looking at the forecast for next week, look like we're going to be having some grilling weather.
Uh-oh.
Temperatures up in the 60s, sunshine. That's the forecast right now for next week. So can finally fire my Big Green Egg back up and start doing some grilling. Of course, they've got all the different Big Green Egg and egg accessories, all the different sizes, all the different things that you need. You can check them out at East Memphis Ace Hardware. They're a platinum dealer of the Big Green Egg. Of course, everything you need for any project around the house, maybe all the snow and everything else has caused some damage to some things around the house that you need to get fixed. Go see the folks at East Memphis Ace Hardware. They've got everything you need and a great staff to help you find it at the corner of White Station and Quince, East Memphis Ace Hardware.
We'll talk some Tigers hoops when we come back. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard from the University of Memphis football team. Is your credit card rewarding you for everyday purchases? Southern Security has the perfect low-interest reward card that will upgrade your wallet. Max rate is 18%, no annual fees, no cash advance fees. For more information, visit southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
At Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, new inventory is arriving daily, and we've got what you've been looking for to start the new year off right. Get off to a great year in your award-winning 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $329 a month, or buy it for $29,910. Take a spin in your new 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $29,445, or lease for $449 a month. How about 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, $420 total range MPGe? You own it for $649 a month. Plus, no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime, memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ06203 MSRP 44,355 Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000 Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Were you surprised to see that Memphis was not only still in the top 25 of the AP poll yesterday, but number 19?
A little surprised, but I didn't really look to see closely at who all had lost and who hadn't lost amongst the teams in that 15 to 25 range and teams just outside of that, the others receiving votes last week. I mean, most teams probably lost once. I don't know. I didn't look to see exactly who lost once, who lost twice, who they lost to, all of that stuff.
It did seem like everybody lost. And maybe that benefited Memphis. They lost twice, but there were so many top 25 teams losing to unranked teams like Memphis did twice.
Again, I think the road losses, I think voters will penalize them because of the South Florida loss. I don't think they'll because everybody loses on the road to the unranked teams right now. I don't think the Tulane loss hurts you much in the voters' eyes.
Yeah, Tulane was a road game. I know they haven't played up to snuff this year. They are not a real deep team. But when they get up for a game, like Ron Hunter got him up for the Memphis game 3 years in a row now, they can win those games, and they have proven.
Because when you've got Kansas losing to West Virginia and you've got Duke losing to Pitt and these things like that, I think they're gonna look at a road loss at Tulane and be like that's not that big a deal. The South Florida one, that's the penalizing loss for sure of the two.
Well, right now, obviously, they're at a crossroads. And this week at practice is huge leading into the game on Sunday in Birmingham. And Andy Kennedy's trying to really get his fan base going. Man, he's already circling the wagons. He's ready for this one, having had that experience of playing Memphis when he was at Ole Miss, Cincinnati. But it should be a challenge, to say the least. We'll talk much more about the Tigers coming up to open up hour number 2. But if you think about the Tigers, Ole Miss, they had a big lead, right? What was it, a 10-point lead in Oxford? 11-point lead. Against USF, they had a 20-point lead. Against Tulane, with 6 minutes to go, what was the lead, 7?
Somewhere in the range. I'm not sure.
So they had leads in all those games. The other loss they had was Villanova. Did they ever lead, like, real early in the game? They never led that game, right? That was a wire-to-wire blowout.
They were down by 30 seemingly 3 minutes into that game, so I don't know.
Right. I didn't know if they made the first basket or not of the game. I can't remember that. I was up at Temple with the football team, I believe. But more than likely they didn't. They were down big, came back a little bit better, a little bit more in the second half. But they got clobbered in that game. That's the only game this year. If you think about it, all the teams they've played, they blew 3 leads against South Florida, significant lead, Ole Miss, and Tulane. 2 of those on the road. To be honest with you, if they could have closed the deal, better shot selection, anchored down some defense, the only loss they've had, really, where they just got beat from the get-go was Villanova. And that's really what has to be emphasized, and I'm sure will be emphasized, that in reality, they're not that far off. But what also is reality is when you lose, as everybody knows, in this conference, it is damaging. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you where Jerry Palm has the team in his latest bracketology. Also, if you missed this, Tulane has apologized for the court storming, not really the court storming they apologized, but for David Jones, who was shoved. I saw that video, Eli. He was pushed in the back. He was absolutely pushed in the back by some dude, just came up there and pushed him. So Tulane released this statement. This type of behavior is unacceptable, and these are actions that are not condoned by Tulane Athletics or the university. So they came out very quickly, certainly to make a statement that they do not condone this type of behavior. But again, the court storming, I don't think they're going to step back from that. It was a huge win for them. Congratulations on that. But, again, David Jones pushing it back. Not hurt or anything like that, but that was their
barely a push. If you want to call it a push, you call it a push.
Yeah, but you were saying yesterday like he kind of
He reached out and touched him on the back.
He pushed him on the back. I mean, I saw the video now for the first time. I was like, it was a push. He pushed the guy. He went up and
you can call it a push, you call it a
I'm not
tap.
saying he went up to hurt him, but he purposely pushed the guy in the back. He wasn't hurt. I mean, he's fine. But he did enough where they had to come out and make that statement.
Again, as I said yesterday, yes, you don't put you can't have fans putting hands on players. It wasn't close to the Caitlin Clark situation.
Did they come out, Ohio State, by the way? I would imagine they did, right? Did they come out and shoot that down? What happened? Yeah, I wonder if the Buckeyes made any.
Tulane did it immediately after the game. I mean, they understood.
They knew. Well, they saw the video of the kid too. They saw that. I didn't see it at first when you said that yesterday. I was like, okay, it's not that bad, but it's a little bit worse than what you made it out to be. The guy actually pushed him from behind. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk Tiger basketball. We're going to talk about the latest Jerry Palm bracketology, and I'm also going to pose a question that's going to probably make a few Tiger fans uneasy. I'm making a statement. I am not giving an opinion on it, but I'm going to give a statement about the future of the American Conference with Memphis and other members of the conference. We'll do that. We got Humdinger's Trivia to open up hour number 2, and then we'll talk University of Memphis Athletics with Jeff Crane as we do each and every Tuesday. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year, it's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats. All shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've also got lab-grown diamonds of the highest quality at prices way below what you see at other jewelers. We've also brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge, fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, things you can't find anywhere else. And of course, Genesis is proud to offer a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular models in stock. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2024 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590, Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Happy New Year, dude. Hey, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Let's start the new year off right in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway 2024 Kia Forte LXS $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Got a big family? Get a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus a 2024 Kia Telluride LX $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And stop by and see the all-new EV9 all-electric SUV. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMTMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Tuesday is Ladies' Night with $8 Cosmos, lemon drops, and daiquiris. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We're still dealing with some dangerous driving conditions out here on some of these back roads and side streets. Still moving right now as we check it out live. 55 northbound as you make your way up through South Haven, coming in from DeSoto County up through South Memphis. Still looking good over here at the moment. On 40 West, we've checked it from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry. They're located 7525 Highway 64. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome in if you're just tuning in. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you on this Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Their floor model sale continues. Currently, it's raining out there, 49 degrees. It's not going to be this downpour all day long, periods of rain. High of 55 today. Then tonight, overcast with rain showers, about a 60% chance tonight, low of 53. Tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain showers and a high of 63 degrees. Second hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. I'll give you more of the details of what's coming up with Valentine's Day right around the corner. And before we get to Humdinger's trivia, Connor O'Gara texted me during the break. If you heard our interview with Connor, he's fantastic. He said he's changed his mind. He completely forgot about Ole Miss when I asked him the question, who's had the best offseason to date and you can't use Ohio State? He said, yeah, I don't know why I forgot, but it's Ole Miss. So he goes Ole Miss over his previous choice of Georgia. Time now for Humdinger's Trivia.
That's right. It's an opportunity for somebody out there to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. Of course, on Tuesdays, you can enjoy Taco Tuesday. Their chicken and fish tacos, just $2 each on Tuesdays over at Humdinger's. If you're not in the mood for the tacos, or maybe it's not a Tuesday when you head over there, all kinds of great items, of course, on the menu with their great grilled fish options. They've got so many different kinds that are just absolutely delicious. You can go for the tilapia, their salmon, the mahi-mahi, which is my favorite, maybe the catfish, maybe the rainbow trout. Added a little skewer of shrimp on there. All kinds of different options with the toppings and the sides as well that are absolutely delicious. Of course, they got the crispy fish and chips. You can also get the little fried catfish or shrimp, or you can do that. You got the chicken menu items. So many different things. Delicious stuff. Healthy stuff on that menu over at Humdinger's. Of course, you'll find Humdinger's at Poplar and Massey and online, humdingersrestaurant.com, where you can check out that entire menu of all the different selections they have for you over at Humdinger's. If you can answer today's trivia question correctly and be the first to do so, then you'll win a $25 gift certificate to go enjoy some of that delicious Humdinger's food. You can answer via text at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. That is the number. Text in those answers. And again, the first correct answer gets the $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. And here is today's question. With the AFC and NFC championship games coming up on Sunday, which team has scored the most points in a conference championship game in NFL history? Which team scored the most points in an NFL conference championship game? 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Most points ever in a conference championship game in the NFL. Which team did it? Text in those answers, and the first correct answer will get that $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's.
By the way, what's the matchup you want to see in the Super Bowl?
Well, I need San Francisco for personal reasons, but I don't care about anybody else.
You don't care? Zach, do you have a preference?
Ravens-Lions.
Ravens-Lions, okay. I definitely want to see the Lions. With all due respect to the 49ers, 49ers are a better overall team, but the Lions, this story is just, I love this story. Motor City Dan Campbell. I would like to see Baltimore, right? They've had success, obviously, in this century, but new blood as opposed to the whole Kansas City dynasty role. But if they get in, they get in. And I have all the respect in the world for Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes is the best. But get ready for a lot of Taylor Swift if they make it to the Super Bowl. Hey, Netflix is getting into live sports. This is a breaking story. The streaming platform will air WWE's Raw starting next year, if you want to call that sports. It's entertainment. But it's part of a 10-year, $5 billion deal. That's with a B. 10-year, $5 billion deal. The rights for this streaming platform to air WWE's Raw. All right. Jerry Palm, he joins us every Wednesday. And every Monday and Friday, he has his latest bracketology. And yesterday, it came out with Memphis as a number 7 seed. So, the Tigers went from, in Jerry's projections on Friday, a number 3 seed. So they have dropped. Well, actually, this goes back to the Monday previous, when they were 10th ranked in the country, had them as a 3 seed. They then lost to South Florida, which was a 2-line drop to a 5. The Tulane game, as we talked about, it's a loss. It's in this conference, and it's not a good conference, but it is a roadie as opposed to that home loss to South Florida. But he dropped them even more. And Jerry has been very supportive of this Tigers team. Actually, if you look at all the people that have the bracketology, the Lenardis, everybody else, he's had them pretty high compared to others. Mike DeCourcy, who does it for Sporting News, Jerry had him as a 3, but now he's dropped him down to a 7. You want to avoid at all costs 8, 9, and then second on that list is 7, 10. But here they are right now with still a long way to go and not a lot of opportunities to better themselves other than Florida Atlantic, just chances to hurt themselves even more. They have him, again, Jerry has him as a 7 playing New Mexico, a 10 seed, and I would say a dangerous 10 seed. And guess what? If they won that game, they would play the winner of Morehead State versus Clemson, a team that Memphis beat right now projected as a 3 seed. That just has to stick in your craw when you've beaten these teams and they're projected way ahead of you now as far as a seed is concerned. The number 1s, according to Jerry, are UConn, the defending champions, Purdue, North Carolina, and Houston. He does still have Ole Miss in as a 9, Eli. He's got Mississippi State in as an 11. A few other SEC schools, and he's got a bunch of them in there, but he's got Tennessee as a 2 now. Does have Texas A&M, in as an 11. That's a team Memphis beat. And he has Florida Atlantic in also as a 7, like Memphis. Again, that's Jerry's latest bracketology from yesterday.
Tells you can't afford many more losses to the bad teams.
Another loss to a bad team, and you're in the 8-9 with a chance to even be worse and then possibly even be bubblicious, which was just unheard of 2 weeks ago. Now, my question for you is, we talk about Memphis and everybody's Super Bowl and all this stuff, and yeah, they certainly are, but Florida Atlantic's right with them in basketball this year. And we know what Memphis was able to do in football. They had a great year with 10 wins for just the 5th time. Tulane last year was the representative in the group of 5 in the New Year's 6 games. This year they come up a little short. Is Tulane the bell cow of this conference? SMU's leaving. They're going to the ACC. There are some okay programs, athletic programs in the conference, some better than others. South Florida should be better. Maybe they will be in the future. Florida Atlantic has a chance if they put some money into those programs. Is Tulane the bell cow, or is Memphis the bell cow? Now, if you look at all sports, Memphis has done really, really well in a lot of the non-revenue sports. Obviously, it was a really good football season. And basketball, we know where they are historically. It's easy for the Tiger fans. I'm sure the text in will say, oh, Memphis is the bell cow. But are they the bell cow? Or is it Tulane? That's my question.
I don't think there is a bell cow. That's part of the problem with the conference. That's what...
Well, I think there's a perception out there, and that perception, I think, may be that Tulane is. Every time you hear rumors about, again, more expansion, Tulane's name pops up there, even ahead of Memphis.
Doesn't mean that makes them the bell cow, but obviously they've had success.
If there
Memphis
truly was
in
a bell
the
cow,
Cotton Bowl.
they would be gone already. That's what I would say. If you were a bell cow in this conference, you would already be gone.
That's a great point. They are now starting to commit financially to their programs just in the last couple of years. But it's an interesting question because we always talk about, Memphis being the best of the conference. Are they truly the best in the conference? Just a question to throw out there. Right now, if you think about it for the future, it's Memphis and it's Tulane. I can't see anybody else even in that conversation. Although, like I said, there are some programs that are better off athletically than others. It'll be interesting to see where Charlotte goes. Charlotte's had a pretty surprisingly good basketball season at this point. They pulled off some upsets, and they were getting better in football. And we know with the money that Poji's he hasn't put in there, but he's been able to raise, they are starting to make headway with the football program. But Charlotte's still a ways off. Like I said, South Florida, it's always shocked me that they are not, because South Florida makes sense for expansion, especially where they are in that rich recruiting grounds of Florida. South Florida's just never taken that next step. I don't get it. UCF obviously did. Good enough to get into the Big 12.
Well, and South Florida now is building the on-campus stadium for football. And,
right.
We'll see what that does to them. But it seems like there is a commitment now, I guess, to at least putting something into the football program, which is a good move on their part. Whether that it's probably too late for them, I don't know. But certainly, as far as location goes, they are a very attractive location for these other conferences. They just haven't, and they have, of course, had their moments when they were, they got into the top 5 in the country when Flowers was there.
Yep.
But there hasn't been anything since then.
Right. And then you have your newcomers like Rice, and UTSA has a pretty good football program. We'll see where they go from here. But certainly they pale in comparison to what Memphis has accomplished as a school in the athletics world, and the same to a certain degree with Tulane. Now, Memphis all time, I think, tops Tulane. But if you look at what has happened recently, Tulane can make that argument. But I think it comes down to those two. But Memphis will have plenty of time this week to get their act together again in basketball, to get ready for what should be a hostile environment. Not a huge arena, Bartow Arena is, but a very vocal fan base who will be ready. And Andy Kennedy's going to stir that cauldron. He's going to have those guys ready to go. I think there are still tickets available. There was the story that came out over the weekend that it was a sellout already, but I don't think that is the case, at least as far as what I read yesterday, that there's still some seats available. Memphis, give credit to the Tigers fans. Boy, do they travel. They had a great contingent in New Orleans. Of course, it's nice to go down to New Orleans and have a good old time, and Mardi Gras going on.
Destination trip.
Right. I'm not sure about Birmingham, but Birmingham's an easy trip, right, to have Birmingham back in the conference. I imagine there'll be Tigers fans down there. There always is, but there'll be some rabid UAB fans. But this is the crossroads game for this team. They have to win this game. I know we're not at the point of must-wins technically, but I can't imagine what would happen with that loss. Well, first of all, next Monday they would undoubtedly be out of the top 25, but the top 25 in the polls, that's just one thing. It's not the end-all, be-all, but where you are as far as
the polls don't matter at all.
Yeah, but I mean, but the polls also we're humans, right? People that have votes that deal with things as far as, Ken Palm, or the net, things of that nature. It's all taken into consideration. The human beings that get behind the walls and decide on who's going to be in the field, in the NCAA tournament field, look at all different criteria, all different analytics. They talk about these things. And, Memphis's non-conference schedule was really good. It's not their fault that those teams have fallen on hard times. They took care of business for the most part, but they're not taking care of business right now in the conference. And that's why this Sunday's game is going to be absolutely pivotal. They have to win this game. And I think yesterday, even though the polls aren't important, right? They're talking points for us on talk radio and all that. But I think the players may look at it and go, you know what? The voters still think we're that good, that we're a top 20 team. So we still get the respect. Let's get our act together. I'm not saying that changes it, but maybe that's part of the change of, all right, they're respecting us. People know that we're a good team. We know we're a good team. Let's get out there, bust some butt, and get back to what we're used to doing, and that's playing good ball and winning. Get rid of the selfishness. Start playing better defensively. Can they turn it around? Yes. They're good enough to turn it around. That's why this week, Cal used to call it Camp Cal. This is Camp Penny. They have to get it done. They have to go down to Birmingham and win. No excuses, even though it's a roadie.
We do have a correct answer in our Humdinger's trivia question. And Zach, I am going to need a tiebreaker from you. The question was, which team has scored the most points in a conference championship game, either AFC or NFC conference championship game in the NFL? There were a lot of folks who came with the Carolina Panthers, and the Carolina Panthers do hold the record for most points in an NFC championship game with 49. However, they do not hold the record for most points in any championship game, any conference championship game. That is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills with a 51-3 just whooping of the Raiders back in 1990. That was the first of the 4 Super Bowls that the Bills would go on to lose, but they put up 51 points. That's the 1990 season. I guess the 1991 championship game. I think I always get confused on that. But 51 for the Buffalo Bills was the correct answer.
Did you have to bring that up? Did you have to bring that up too soon, man? Too soon to bring up the Bills. As a diehard Bills fan, as I am, as you know,
I know you like to claim other teams.
These are bad. These are bad memories. What do you mean?
All right, Zach. We had 2 that came in with Buffalo with the same timestamp. So we're going to go. I need you. Let's go. Hansel or Gretel?
They both getting eaten, right? Do it matter?
Yeah, but who gets eaten first?
I don't need you to break down that. I just need you to choose one of them.
Who's better eating right there? Hansel or Gretel? Who tastes better?
Let's go Hansel.
Hansel it is. All right.
By the way, I didn't take Greg as a Buffalo Bills
I'm
fan.
kidding. It's a joke. I'm being sarcastic. I'm a Colts fan through and through. Just having fun.
I thought that was like his secondary team.
No, I don't have a secondary team. There's
that's the Eagles. He once called the Eagles his team.
No, I meant my hometown team. You know, I'm not technically from Philly. I'm 60 miles away, but that's the team that all my buddies rooted for. I was a rebel. I rooted for the Colts.
I've never called the Bears my team.
I accidentally said my team like 20 years ago, and Eli still remembers that. No, I'm not like Wolo. I'm not a fan of the Cubs and the White Sox. I'm not a fan of 2 teams from the same city. I'm not going down that route. I am a fan of the Colts, and that is it when it comes to football. I am a fan. Go ahead. All right, I thought you were going to say something. I am a fan of James Gaddis Jewelers. You should be as well. Hour 2. They are the sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings, have been with us for years and years. If you're looking for that special something for that special someone in your life, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Beautiful rings and bracelets, necklaces and earrings, pendants of all types, so many choices, plus the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. So again, you're looking for something special, go over there, talk to the experts at James Gaddis Jewelers. They're your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. And if you're looking to pop the question on Valentine's Day, you still have a few weeks. If you haven't purchased your engagement ring yet, make sure James Gaddis Jewelers is one of the jewelers you check out. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition. They make sure there's a price point to suit everyone's budget. James is a master jeweler and a diamondologist. So, again, you're going down the right avenue when you're dealing with James and his years and years of experience. If you're looking for that special engagement ring, wedding ring, personally designed wedding sets, or any of their fine jewelry, it is James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com.
Did you say Hansel or Gretel?
Said Hansel.
Hansel, okay. All right. We'll notify our winner.
Wasn't Hansel the name of, what was the movie with Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell? No, not Will Ferrell. Yeah, Will Ferrell was in it, but Owen Wilson. Zoolander. One of those dudes was Hansel, wasn't it? One of the characters?
It might have been, yeah.
I think it was Hansel. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis joins us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go, so Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
They're taking care of business in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo, and if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Tuesday is Ladies' Night with $8 Cosmos, lemon drops, and daiquiris. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Moving a little bit better than it was up through the Midtown area from the earlier crash that was there for a while on 240 northbound, right at South Parkway. Again, it's moving a lot better. Now it's really heavy over here coming in on 40 westbound between Germantown Parkway and Whitten Road. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Halfway home on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. We're broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's Tuesday. It's time to talk some Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers athletics. Joining Greg and Eli is University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director Jeff Crane. Here's Jeff with Greg and Eli.
Jeff Crane joins us each and every Tuesday. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, guys.
Are classes finally going on, or is the school open?
Yeah, we have classes going on remotely this week due to the water pressure and the boil water advisory in much of the city. But the students are back in class, just taking those classes online. We've grown accustomed to that in our world over the last few years, so students don't miss a beat.
So the water pressure and things of that nature is the reason why, because I don't know. In college, we trudged through snowstorms to get to class. I don't get it, but I guess it's a different world.
Yeah, it's really not as much about the snow and ice as it is about the water. Not having restroom facilities and buildings and things like that make it challenging. But thankfully, we were able to get the water pressure back to a good spot in our athletics facility just in the last 24 hours or so. So our student athletes are able to get back in and practice and train.
Well, you certainly had a challenge for the Memphis women's basketball team last week because you were scheduled to play on Thursday at El Marone Fieldhouse and could not play there because of the reasons you just talked about. The game was shifted to FedEx Forum. Number one, what's the situation with El Marone Fieldhouse moving forward? Because the next home game is not until February 1st, so that's next Thursday? And then how about if FedEx Forum wasn't available? What would have happened?
Yeah, we do feel like El Marone will be up and ready to go. In fact, should be ready to go by the end of the day today, and we don't anticipate any issues as we go forward in the facility. But the folks at FedEx Forum and the Grizzlies were so accommodating, and as we've talked about before, they are true partners of ours, and we're very thankful. We've sprung that on them with not a whole lot of warning, and they immediately went to work and had to adjust a few things around that they were trying to get done in the building to accommodate us, and it was great. We had almost 1,000 people at the game, and under the weather conditions and the change of venue, and heck, we won the game by 20. So I think Coach Simmons may want to play some more games.
Oh yeah, she said that to me. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. But do you think do you think that the game would have been postponed if there wasn't an availability at FedEx Forum, or do you have a contingency plan even beyond that?
Yeah, we were looking at several different options around the city in the event that the FedEx Forum was not available. Port Atlantic had committed to getting to Memphis, and so we were going to play a game one way or the other, but very thankful that we were able to do so at FedEx Forum.
I know. I'd imagine for you, for an athletic department as a whole, the last thing you ever want to have to do is hold sporting events where you have to tell fans stay home.
Yeah, not ideal. It goes against everything we we believe to be true, but just felt like it was the right thing to do under the circumstances. And the city had put out some advisories that they had asked people to stay off the roads that particular night unless there was an emergency. And the roads were certainly not in a place that we wanted to encourage that. Unfortunate, being that it was a game, obviously, but not something we look to do in the future, that's for sure.
So do you, in your deal with the Grizzlies, do you still have the whole thing about ticket scan count and that determines payouts and all that stuff?
We do. That's still a part of our contract. We are negotiating an extension to that contract as we speak, but the current contract does read that way. And we've had some conversations with the Grizzlies related to that particular game, and seeing that it was out of all of our control. I think we'll likely make some adjustments to that formula, but that's an ongoing conversation.
I figured there had to be you're kind of an act of God type thing. I mean, you're not going to that obviously get a pass for that. And for those folks, again, if you had tickets to that game, what are you able to do with them?
Yeah, so our ticket office has sent information out related to that particular game, and can exchange for any game as the season goes on. So if you had 4 tickets to the South Florida game, you can swap those out for any game as we go forward.
All these days are starting to blend, but if I'm not mistaken, you had a tennis match the night before the basketball game. My timing, is that correct?
Yeah, I think I've lost track too.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm pretty sure you had the tennis match. You were playing. The men's tennis team was going up against Harvard because we talked about it last week when you were on over at Leftwich, and you guys came out with the statement not to come to the game because you weren't letting fans in. But yet the next day was FedEx Forum and the basketball game, and yet you said there. You advise, probably to stay at home, but it's your call. Why is the difference? And it was less than 24 hours.
Yeah. Good question. Those facilities are managed differently. The FedEx Forum is operated by the Grizzlies, and so they felt they were in a position to still accommodate the game. Felt they had the staffing appropriate to do so. Whereas Leftwich is owned and operated by the city of Memphis, and as there were other city facilities that were closed at that time, they still gave us the opportunity to play the match, which we're appreciative of, but did not want to open that facility to the public, and wanted to try to stay consistent in that way. And so, of course, we honored that. But in the meantime, our men's tennis team has just been on a roll.
Yes, they have
4-0. Since last week beating Harvard, number 11 in the country, they've beaten Northwestern and Indiana. So we're doing really, really well in men's tennis. Very excited. We had fans back in Leftwich this weekend when we played Indiana, and it's such a great atmosphere there playing on the indoor courts, and encourage folks to come out and check it out. Our women this weekend on Saturday play Ole Miss at 2:00 at Leftwich. So hope to see a big crowd out there.
And it's still free of charge?
Absolutely. It's free for all.
Not a free for all, but it is free for all to attend.
Yeah, we don't want a free for all.
We don't want a free for all out there. But what has been the reaction from folks who have been in, fans and everything else that have had a chance to see Leftwich now that it's been open?
I think that they're amazed, frankly. If for many of the folks that are playing tennis at Leftwich, they had been longtime patrons of Leftwich prior to the renovation, or I should say rebuild. And it is one of the finest facilities in the country. Certainly for college tennis, you will have a hard time finding a facility better than Leftwich. So we're just appreciative of the partnership with the city, and think that's going to elevate our tennis programs even further as we go forward. And excited to get outdoors as soon as the weather permits. And at this rate, it might be 90 degrees next week. Who knows?
Well, next Friday, I believe it is, the forecast has it for like 65 and sunny. So
You know what day it is?
Not far off.
Next Friday? It's Groundhog Day. I wonder what Puxatawny Phil will see.
We just hope we're playing tennis outdoors sooner rather than later.
So you guys, and I'm talking you guys, meaning the men's basketball team, unfortunately were on the wrong side of a court storming against Tulane on Sunday, where David Jones was hit by a fan. Nothing brutal, but was hit by a fan. And Tulane immediately came out on social media and obviously panned that. They said that they would not accept any type of this behavior. Number one, did they also contact you guys to apologize? And number two, Jeff, what can be done? Because you start to worry about, and there's always been the talk about the field storming in football because there's thousands and thousands and thousands, but it's a confined area in basketball. And we had Caitlin Clark get run over the other day, the star from Iowa. What are your thoughts on that? But also, did Tulane contact you guys?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Tulane did. I don't know. I would be almost certain that there's been a conversation either with our sport administrators or Laird and their athletics director. That would be very customary for that sort of conversation to take place. I just don't know that for sure. And it's a huge challenge, a much bigger challenge, obviously, in football due to the number of fans versus basketball. And we go through painstaking efforts to try to avoid that. Various things, security guards, stanchions, everything under the sun to try to avoid those issues. But sometimes college students in particular will be college students. And so our goal is to, if it ends up happening, try to get everybody off the floor as quickly and safely as possible. But it's a big challenge across the industry, and I don't know that anybody's figured out the exact formula. Many conferences are fining schools at high levels, but even that hasn't seemed to stop it entirely.
Couple of football notes and a question for you. Have they already announced dates for spring football?
Those should be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. We do have practice will get rolling, I want to say about mid-March, and then spring game will be later in April. So all those dates should be coming out in the next couple weeks.
Will the spring game still be played at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium if renovation has started by then, which you certainly hope it has?
Yes, we will have the spring game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, regardless of the start of the renovation. And maybe limited in some areas if we started by that time. But yes, still play the game there.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the football academic success. Very, very good.
Yeah, we're just, I think what you're seeing with our football program is Coach Silverfield and his staff have put a standard in place, and there's a standard on the field and there's a standard off the field. This fall we finished with our highest fall GPA in the history of our football program. We had over half of our football student athletes with a 3.0 or better. And I think what you see is that success on the field leads to success off the field, and those things work hand in hand. The discipline and the work ethic that Coach Silverfield and his staff are instilling in our student athletes is paying off in so many ways, and really, really proud of that and all of our student athletes' academic success.
And who says you can't come home again? Coach Silverfield goes out and hires two former Tigers in Lou Esposito and Reggie Howard to join that defensive staff for Coach Jordan Hankins.
Yeah, I thought that was such a wise move by Coach Silverfield and Coach Hankins to bring in our own. There's just a different perspective with Lou Esposito and Reggie Howard both playing at Memphis, both having great careers in terms of their football playing careers, but then also great coaches with great experience. And so, just another layer of something that's important to Coach Silverfield and his staff to bring that perspective and have more Tigers as a part of our program. Something that's really important to them, and happy to welcome both of them back to Memphis.
All right, Jeff, good stuff as always. That's University of Memphis Deputy AD Jeff Crane. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75 and listen to him every Tuesday as he joins us here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks so much, guys. Go Tigers, go.
Folks, if you got a move coming up, maybe you're moving into a new house, maybe a new office, whatever it is, wherever you're going, no matter where it is, whether it's across town or across country, you got to make sure you get the professionals to help you to do that for you. That's Black Tie Moving. That's the best one you can call. All you got to do is pick up the phone, give them a call, 901-316-6196, or you can go to their website. That's blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. You get a lot of information through the website, all of that stuff. And the main part of it, though, is when you talk to the folks at Black Tie Moving, they are going to work with you coming up with a plan for your move, fitting what you need, fitting your budget. They give you a no obligation quote up front as well, so you know exactly what it's going to cost as well. During the process of the move, you've got a moving concierge who's available to answer any questions that might come up. Moving can be stressful, so you want to take as much of that stress and worry out of the process as you can, and the easiest way to do that is get the professionals to do it for you. Black Tie Moving, 901-316-6196 or blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Get those professionals on your side from Black Tie Moving.
You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590, Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Happy New Year, dude. Hey, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Let's start the new year off right in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway 2024 Kia Forte LXS $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Got a big family? Get a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus a 2024 Kia Telluride LX $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And stop by and see the all-new EV9 all-electric SUV. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMTMoriah.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text JUDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 42424. That's JUDGE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. from restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Coming up in hour number 3, Zoe Goodson will join us from Rhodes. Tomorrow, Memphis Tiger assistant basketball coach Andy Borman. Jerry Palm will join us. We'll talk with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal about the Grizzlies. If you missed it last night, the Grizzlies going to Toronto and win 108-100 to improve to 16-27. Jaren Jackson Jr. leading the way with 27 points, 6 steals, and they were all in the first quarter, which is just mind-boggling. Also, the Titans are finalizing a deal according to several reports, the first being Adam Schefter. They are finalizing a deal with Brian Callahan to become their new head coach. Callahan, recently the offensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals.
The Grizzlies also yesterday, it has started. The national TV games are going to dwindle in a hurry. And they lost 2 yesterday, an ESPN game and a TNT game. Their game against Cleveland on February 1st, which that was supposed to be a 9 o'clock game, so that actually helps because now it becomes a 7 o'clock tip-off, which will be on Bally's. And then their game against Boston in Boston on February 4th, which was supposed to be a ESPN game. That one has also been dropped by ESPN. And expect these announcements to continue because the national television folks are not going to really want to be broadcasting Grizzlies games the rest of the way.
And there are some Grizzlies games when they're broadcast nationally that they still do the local broadcast. What's the network that they don't do it? Is it TNT?
TNT.
So when they're TNT and they're not going to do them all of a sudden, they get them back. So it's more work. I don't know if Pete and Brev want more games than Fish, but that's more games, that's more pay. I'm the opposite. I lose games. They go the other way. They become national games or they become games that are on the bigger networks. But that's the way it is in the world of sports broadcasting. I think they've got some NBA TV games. I would imagine they might be able to hold on to those. But I'm going to guess the TNTs especially are probably going to be gone for the rest of the year. And I would say the ESPNs in all likelihood as well. You're telling me when you rattle off names like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, John Conchar, there's an odd name in that foursome, right? I mean, you don't want to see Jitty? Is that what you're saying? You don't want to see young Gigi Jackson perform? You don't want to see Jacob Gilyard? Come on.
I do, but TNT doesn't want to show them perform.
Apparently not. It was fun, though, when they played the other day and Shaq's interviewing Gigi Jackson and Gigi's like his eyes are popping out that it's Shaq talking to him. He had an unbelievable game. That's fun to see some of the upcoming talent in the NBA.
Joel Embiid might have had 70 points last night. He did not have as many blocks as John Conchar. So,
he did not.
So take that.
Don't mess with Mount Mutombo John Conchar. Yeah, if you missed it last night, 70 for Joel Embiid with 18 rebounds and 5 assists. Sixers beat the Spurs 133-123. However, the Timberwolves got 62 from Karl Anthony Towns, and they lost. Blew a big lead in the second half. Lost to the Hornets of all teams at home, 128-125. Again, last night, on the night of the 18th anniversary of Kobe's 81-point performance.
It was the 4th time in history that 2 different guys scored 60 points on the same night or same day in NBA history. It was the first time since it happened since 1978, though. So it's been a long time since we saw that one.
Who were those guys? Do you have the...
I don't remember who the 2 were on... who the heck was that?
78. Was it David Thompson?
Might have been involved. I can't remember. I don't remember.
I'm curious now, Zach. I don't know if you can find that, but in 78, who had 60-point games? I'm not even sure if Thompson had 60 in a game, but I don't know why I threw his name out there. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's not.
I think George Gervin might have been one of them.
The Iceman.
If
The Iceman coming.
I don't know. I can't remember. I have to remember where I saw that.
Okay. From college
I
basketball.
got you.
What do you got?
Matter of fact, both of you guys are right.
Was it David Thompson and George Gervin? Was
So
it those
it's
two
Dave
guys?
Thompson and George Gervin?
Why did George Gervin ring a bell in my head? I don't, but yeah.
That's nuts right there. I don't know why I came up with David Thompson. You come up with Gervin. Oh, that's unbelievable.
And I don't know the
Almost
other.
like we worked together before.
I don't know the other ones. That's the only one that I saw that it happened. Was the last time it happened. I don't know the other ones. I would assume Wilt was probably involved in the other ones. You just assume that he was getting 60 a lot. Somebody else probably matched him one night along the way, or maybe he was both of the others. I don't know.
Well, that's 22. That's 46 years ago. Well, think about whether, I mean, if they had a 3-point shot when they did, and some of those guys that were scoring big-time points without a 3-point shot. Not like Wilt was going to be shooting 3-pointers, but some of the other guys that did not have the opportunity to play when the 3-point shot was there. And how many points, the pistol could have scored. From college, go ahead.
David Thompson, 73 points against the Detroit Pistons, and then George Gervin, 63 against the New Orleans Jazz.
Thank you.
But you can see you can't find the other two instances where it happened.
From college basketball, DePaul has fired their head coach, Tony Stubblefield. He was 9-38 in the Big East. DePaul, the once proud Blue Demons, you know very much about that history of DePaul, a Chicago team that under Ray Meyer for years was a power. Can they ever get it back?
It wouldn't appear so. It's just sad. It's really sad. I was such a big DePaul fan growing up, and then they have not won. They've won one NCAA tournament game since 1989.
See, I know it's a private school.
They haven't been to the tournament since 2004, which is the one other time they did win a game in that tournament. But
Joey had success too, right? Following Ray, he just passed away, Joey. No?
He passed away. It's too soon, so I'm not going to go into my Joey Meyer stuff.
Oh, you have something negative to say about Joey Meyer. But
he ruined the program. Let's be honest.
Did he?
Joey Meyer ruined the program. And that's not even actually, I can say it's not coming from me. That's coming from DePaul players who played for Joey Meyer who said he ruined the program.
I did a game at Rosemont Horizon when they played there, when Memphis played DePaul back in the day when we had 3 in the booth. Wolo remembers this, me, Dave, and John Albright. But I digress.
The program probably was good because there's not an investment in it.
That's the finances.
Joey, I mean, it probably was going to go downhill anyway. Joey Meyer probably just sped that up and ruined it in his time there. But they've gone through coach after coach after coach after coach, and it's not working whatsoever right now. So
they had the guys like Dave Lato and all that. Like, let's say they got, okay, I know they're not, Ole Miss wasn't in the situation that DePaul's in, and they went out, but they went out outside the box, and Keith Carter brought in Chris Beard, one of the great X's and O's guy, and it's paying dividends early, and I think it will as he continues on. But Jeff Goodman brought up an interesting name, Will Wade. Will Wade, who was at LSU and then got into trouble, and now is at McNeese, and they're good. I mean, to bring in
an incredible win last night.
Yeah, so to bring in somebody that actually has the ability to coach, and if they got the backing of some alumni, you have all those kids in Chicago. I'm not saying they'd pick DePaul over the great programs in the country, but some may, and that's what DePaul was able to do. Maybe sprinkle in some of those St. Louis kids. I don't know why you can't figure it out at DePaul. I mean, you need some money, and there's got to be some boosters that are willing to put in the money, some alum that are willing to put in the money. Bring in a coach that has the ability. Not an old fuddy-duddy.
I don't think there's any money. I doubt there's, but I doubt their NIL is really good.
They're not playing at the Rosemont. I know it's not even called the Rosemont anymore. Are they playing at? They're not playing at the United Center, are they? Where the hell's the ball play?
I think
United
they
Center?
still play at the
old Rosemont,
whatever that
which
is,
became the
called.
State Farm Arena. I think it was. They had the hockey team there, so the floor was cold as hell when I was there. But that was years ago, so I don't know where they are now. But I mean, that was a once proud program that has fallen on hard times. But anyway, Tony Stubblefield out of a job. Also, speaking of being out of a job, Tommy Rees, who was the offensive coordinator for Nick Saban, announced his retirement. He's replaced by Kalen DeBoer. He brings in his guy Grubb. Tommy Rees looking for a job. Tommy Rees is going to head to the NFL. According to reports, he will become the tight ends coach of the Cleveland Browns. They're expected to name Tommy Rees. Goes from OC of Alabama to the tight ends coach of the Cleveland Browns. FanDuel has its Heisman odds. It's way too early Heisman odds, but if you want to throw some futures down on some of these players, here are the odds for the Heisman for next year. Your favorites, there are two of them. Carson Beck from Georgia, Quinn Ewers from Texas, 7.5 to 1. Dylan Gabriel, 10 to 1. Will Howard, we talked about him, transferring to Ohio State. Jalen Milroe, returning to Alabama. They are 12 to 1. And then Nico Suave, Nico Iamaleava, Nico Iamaleava. I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's not correct. But
that is not correct? Okay. I tried.
Iamaleava, I believe it is.
Iamaleava. Okay. Iamaleava. Yeah, well, you
got to give him some credit.
I'm not worried about it right now. Once the season starts, I'll have to learn how to pronounce that. If I ever had to call a game, which I will not be calling a Tennessee game, I would learn how to do that. But right now, he's Nico Suave to me. But anyway, he's 15 to 1. Jackson Dart is 18 to 1. DJ Uiagalelei, I can pronounce that one. He is 25 to 1 with a new team, Florida State. So interesting. Quinn Ewers, the return to Texas with Arch Manning. Interesting. I guess Arch Manning is going to hang around again and be a backup, and we'll see where that goes from there.
DePaul plays at Wintrust Arena now, which is actually at McCormick Place. It's the event center for McCormick Place. It's a new arena they built at McCormick Place that DePaul plays in.
Okay, so they're not playing at the old Rosemont Horizon. We will take a timeout. When we come back, hour number 3 of the program, Zoe Goodson will join us. And we'll take your calls and texts in our final 30 minutes. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let's wait until spring to put our house on the market. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, and I've heard that before. Yes, spring is beautiful. The azaleas are in bloom, and so are the real estate signs. More flowers mean more signs. To me, right now is the best time to go on the market. Yes, even during the holidays and the winter months, because the housing inventory is lower, and buyers just don't have the selection available that they would in February, March, and April. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers. Find out what they think about your house, but more importantly, what they will do for you. Make sure I'm one of the ones you call to find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and win. Remember what they say. When you want the job done, call the worst golfer in town. Call me, Sheldon Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546, and go Tigers.
Let's make this the new year to drive your new Kia home from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Bobby J's waiting to put you in a new Kia today, so come hit the road with 41 MPG Highway and 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or get 7 passenger seating in a 2023 Kia Sorento LX. We Gossett at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And if you want your new ride to be a 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we Gossett at $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Kia today, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590. Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together. There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We're still concerned about some of these back roads and side streets. Please don't get too overconfident, even though there's a lot of traffic volume out here this morning, more so than it has been. On 24 westbound, it's still busy from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. Looks better now through Midtown. We had a couple of wrecks earlier there on 240. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 the time, hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. Their floor model sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 50 degrees and cloudy. We've had rain throughout the morning. We'll have rain throughout the day, but not a steady rain, meaning every second of the day. We will have about a 60% chance tonight of more rain with a low of 53, which feels tropical from the temperatures that we just dealt with. Tomorrow, cloudy, occasional rain showers, and a high of 63 degrees. It is Tuesday. It's time to talk some Rhodes athletics.
It's time to go inside Rhodes College Athletics on Sports 56 Mornings. Every week, a representative from Rhodes will join Greg and Eli to talk about all things Lynx. Let's go inside Rhodes Athletics now on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are joined once again in studio by Rhodes head men's basketball coach Zoe Goodson. You can follow Zoe on Twitter at Zoe Goodson. Tough week for the Lynx as they lose to Sewanee 81-80, and they lose to Center 66-64. Two games that come down to the wire. And, Coach, I know it makes you sick to your stomach here to have to rekindle those bad memories, but, man, opportunities and just fell a little short.
Yeah, we had a rough weekend. Started off in Sewanee, Tennessee with an overtime game. It was a great game, great environment. I got to give a lot of credit to Sewanee. They had their 100-year celebration, and they packed the gym. And it was an incredible environment for our guys to get an opportunity to play in. Incredible game for everybody there to watch, an overtime game that ended with a 3-point buzzer beater for them to get the 1-point win. Wow. And then a court storm that nobody got hurt on. So
that's good.
Yep.
A game you lose like that, heartbreaking fashion, how tough is that to recover when you got to try and play 2 days later? Is it good to play 2 days later or bad to play 2 days later?
If we would have won Sunday, I'd have said great. Since we lost, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, then you lose another close game. Then it really...
66-64 on Sunday.
Yeah, so, I mean, to answer the question, it's an NBA mentality in our league when you play with just one day in between. So, you got to have a short memory. For us, just took a bunch of notes. When we were on the bus from Sewanee to Danville on Saturday, watched all the film, and I watched it again. Took all my notes, made a practice plan, and we just went back to work. We went to work, and we had a really spirited, aggressive practice on Saturday to try to get better. And you can see that we did better defensively. In the first game, we gave up 50% from the line. From overall, and that just can't happen. Can't win games giving up 50% from the field.
What's the number you're looking at, by the way?
I try to keep it under 40.
Under 40 from the field by your opponent.
Yeah, under 35 from 3.
Okay.
Try to keep it under 30 is great. Under 35 is you give yourself a chance from 3.
So this is more on you guys from a lack of execution, maybe defensively, or do you tip your cap to the opponent and say, they went out and won these games?
No, look, I'm not taking anything away from anybody we're playing. They're going out and winning games, and they're executing down the stretch, and they're doing a great job of making timely plays and making winning plays at the right time and making free throws at the right time. And so we got to get better at that, and those are the things. We got to learn how to win close games. And with primarily all freshmen and sophomores playing, they're still trying to figure that out.
And Sewanee was a team you had already beaten at home earlier this year.
Correct.
And now you got to play them again. Turn around and play them again. Right. You guys are very familiar with them, obviously.
Right. Yeah. It's the added Sewanee game in December was because of a scheduling mishap that had with another team. They couldn't make it. Sewanee needed a game. We needed a game. So we put that one together as a non-conference. So we both needed a game. But, 3 times in regular season play. Get them again this Friday. Friday. We'll see what the schedule looks like going into the weekend. But, it looks like it's going to be Friday night.
Yeah, so for those who are a little confused listening on, wait a minute, didn't they just play Sewanee and center? Now they're playing them again. Explain how it works in your league.
Yeah, in our league, we call it the mirror scheduling. So you basically you play front end and then you flip it and you play everybody again. So you have the back-to-back weekend every year of who you played. This past weekend, you turn around playing next weekend and then reverse it.
We're sitting on the mirror right now. You're on the mirror.
Yep.
And it's, so kind of like a snake draft. You just turn around and play everybody back the reverse order.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Just one being at home and one being away. And
Correct.
This time it was away, the unfortunate 2 tough losses. Now you turn around and go home. All right, so after 2 tough losses like that, what's the word to the team?
Get back to the drawing board. We're not going to change our principles because we know they work, right? We've won in the past with it, so I'm not going in and blowing everything up and starting over and recreating the offense. There's no reason to try to reinvent the wheel. We know what we've done in the past. It's worked this year. We won 7 out of 8 against really good opponents during a good run. So we know it works. It's hopefully build some confidence, get them to understand that they are good enough and that they know deep down that they can win games in the end, and probably maybe managing time a little bit better at the end of games for them to keep building them up by saving timeouts for that 2-minute stretch to make sure. Look, you look in both games. We led the center game for almost 18 minutes, led in the Sewanee game for 19 minutes. So it's just a matter of making sure that we find ways to keep building them up and get their confidence back to where they know how to win.
And with this, you've got 4 straight home games now to try and get, because you've been on the road for most of your conference play.
Yeah.
So now you get to, seemingly most, but here at the end, but now you get to try and, this is an opportunity to hopefully build that momentum, right?
Yeah, we started conference 5 out of 7 on the road, which means we get to be 5 out of 7 at home on the back end. And don't think that wasn't a concern going into the year when I saw that. When I knew how young we were, it was a note of mine to look at okay, it's going to be tough sledding whenever you're starting conference on, your first 5 out of 7 on the road.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference.
Obviously, anything can happen in the course of a game, an injury, players fouling out, all that kind of stuff. But how quickly, if it happens at all, do you have the feeling that, this one's going down to the wire? Like, do you get a feeling like this is going to be a tight game the whole way?
I honestly, I kind of knew it going into both of these games. Even
so
before
going
the game
into the games,
just knowing that the personnel and that both these teams were playing well, and I knew that we've seen each other so much at this point. Played against each other. And Greg Mason's a great friend of mine at Center College, and so we all know each other so well, and we have an idea of what each other's going to do. I had a pretty good feeling we had a tough wire-to-wire weekend.
And that's the thing when you're getting in this situation where you're playing them back-to-back weeks. There's not much scouting, I guess, you need to do going into this. You just played both teams.
Played them. Yeah, and so, you'll watch. We'll go back and watch. I mean, you've done all the research and the work leading up to last weekend, so there's only one other game that they played outside of us. Yeah. So you go watch that game, make sure they didn't do anything crazily different, and then you keep. But what I'll do is I'll make the staff and we will continually watch our games from this past weekend to try to find ways to exploit their weaknesses defensively and offensively.
But scouting reports, you don't have to throw away what you just did.
You don't have to save some trees.
Exactly.
Well, and again, you were both really close games. It's not like the thing. It's not like you're like, well, we got to do things drastically different.
Right. We don't have to go blow up the scouting report and start all over, right? The game planning piece is already there because we know we gave ourselves a chance. We know we were leading in both games in the last minute, and so we gave ourselves a chance. So we don't need to completely just drastically change everything. We just got to figure out a way to win down the stretch.
What you need is now your fan base to show up like those did.
Man, if we could get Mallory Gymnasium half as full as what Swanee's gym was on Friday night, I'd be excited. I mean, that place was absolutely packed. They did an incredible job. Their school, their administration did an unbelievable job really promoting that and getting that place packed. Then they got the perfect ending with the buzzer beater and everybody being able to storm the court, and they had a great celebration. I would love for Mallory to get just half as packed as that was.
As a Division III coach, do you feel that is part of the job description, that you have to go out there and also get that excitement from the fan base, from the alum, as well as coach a team?
Of course, the student section, that's really important to me. And for 3 years now, I've been meeting with different groups on campus, whether it's different fraternities and sorority. Literally, I've met with every single fraternity or sorority every year. Go to their meetings and talk about getting them to come, and other different groups on campus. Mm-hmm. Next weekend, next Friday, we have a big fraternity night it's going to should be fun, and so we'll see how that goes. But we need fans this weekend too.
Well, the good thing is all the snow and ice and everything is gone, so people will have the ability to get there if they want to.
Let's get this boiled water over with.
Well, yeah, that would be nice as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's going to happen in the next day or two.
Yeah.
So last night, I'm going to transition this, but it'll come back to you. Last night in the NBA, we had some crazy individual performances. I'm not sure if you caught this. Joel Embiid at 70 last night. Karl Anthony Towns at 62. It was on the 18th anniversary of Kobe Bryant and his 81. What's the most points that of a team you've coached that an individual player scored?
Trying to think about this. 41, I believe, as a coach our team that I coached.
I bring that up because we had two different situations last night. In Philadelphia, they were celebrating his performance. They were going to Embiid, they were feeding him, and they win by 10. Minnesota blows a big lead over Charlotte and lose the game.
Oh, wow.
And Chris Finch goes, for an NBA coach to be as critical as he was, to me, you see it in college, you don't see it as much in the NBA. He was mad. He talked about selfish basketball.
Right.
That's why I wondered if you had anybody that really went off in a game. Like, what do? Do you keep feeding the hot hand? Do other players end up standing around and watching when a kid does something like that? How do you get those players more involved so you don't lose a game even though an individual has a great performance? It's kind of a fine line, but how do you deal with something like that?
100% a fine line, because when you see a guy putting the ball in the bucket so easily, and it's coming to him that easily, you want to go to him. But it's what you just said. What happens, the other four guys start standing and ball watching. And then that gives the defense a chance to just collapse on them. And if guys are just standing, it's hard for him to find them, right? And so we have that a lot at times already. And I tell people, it's not selfish of the guy that's trying to create and make something happen. It's selfish on the other four to stand and watch and expect him to make everything happen. You got to give him opportunities and outlets and places to pass the ball, and give him a chance to get rid of it. So with that, two incredible performances. And to be honest with you, I'm so involved in what we're doing, I had no clue until you just said it. So, wow, what an incredible performance by both of them. But it can get to a point to where it becomes, or at least seems, selfish, especially when you're watching it live. Then you got to go back and watch the film. That's why I'm really careful about what I say until I watch the film about the selfish play, and if it appears to be selfish after you watch the film, it probably is very selfish play. But you don't want to. I'm not a big fan of coming out right away after games and saying that, because you got to be careful, because you don't know.
Well, it's interesting because you're talking about selfishness from the standpoint of the other four guys that may be just sitting around because they're letting the other guy do all the work. Whereas, for example, with Memphis recently and Penny's talk about selfish play, that's, I guarantee you, not about guys that are standing around, because there's so many players on their roster that came from places where they were the stars, and they expect theirs. So you have two types of selfishness,
there's
right?
no doubt. And there's times that the guy that's trying to make it always happen is being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
But, I also think that we've made this word selfish such a bad word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not that they're trying to do it because they want it for their own. Sometimes they're being selfish because they want to win so freaking bad that they just want to go do it. Like, it's not happening, I'm going to go make it happen. We had a guy last year that a lot of people would look at and they say, well, he was selfish in that play. No, what Jeff Walker was trying to do was get us out of this 0-for-6 drought that we're in our last 6 possessions. And guess what he did? Probably 80% of the time. He got us out of it. That's not selfish. That's a guy that's like, the heck with this. I'm going to go get it done because we need to win this game, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the game.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you get in those tight end-of-game situations, sometimes if a guy does it and he continues, he's one of those guys, he just wants the ball in that situation, and he's going to step up. And but then if it doesn't go right, I'm like, oh, he's just being selfish. Well, no, I mean, that's just like he's got confidence in himself, and he can make the play. And if he's getting good shots, well, that's all you can ask for, right?
There's no doubt about it. And you get to your spot, you know where your spots are on the floor. If you get to your spot, you get a clean look. There's no such thing as a truly uncontested shot in the game anymore, right? I mean, they do happen, but very rarely. But in clutch situations, they're not going to happen. But it's like a coach coming out of a timeout. If they go and they go make the shot, whether it's contested or uncontested, that was a great play by the coach on that timeout, exactly, right? Yeah. But if we go out there and he's wide open and he misses it, nobody ever says that was a great play. They just move on, right?
Yeah, all the players are trying to make their shots.
No doubt.
I mean, you can say it's selfish.
Correct.
They're trying to make the shots and win the game for their team. And we've talked about this, it may have even been last week, about when you call a timeout and you put a play together, maybe a final possession to try to win it, that there's 2 or 3 options.
Correct.
But your first option, I would imagine, unless you're going to do a Hoosiers move and use the star. Remember, they were going to use the star as a decoy?
That's what I did on Sunday.
So you
got a wide open look at the rim.
Oh, so you used, but did you
not
use
that play?
Okay,
but I used.
But remember, Hoosiers, they used the star as that's what they wanted to do. Use Jimmy Chitwood is the decoy, right? Yeah. And he said, "Coach, I'll make it." Yeah. So he changed his mind. He said, all right, let me give the ball to the star. That's what we have nowadays, right? Most of the time it's roll the ball out, give it to your star, and see what he can do.
I mean, and it really wasn't a decoy. It was just, I had 2 guys that are really good shooters, and my mindset was, if I can get them open, they're going to be option 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. For 3, if they break out and get open for 3, you get them the ball. And I had a really, really, really good guy on the team that makes great passes in this situation. So he looked at option 1, looked at option 2, knew they were covered up, and then he knew exactly to look inside. And we got a good look. He got bumped. Some contact that may have been called on one end, the previous play that wasn't called on the other end.
And you didn't say anything about it, right?
No,
I'm sure
never,
not, right?
Never. But at the end of the day, he still got to make that play, and we got to make those plays. And so, as a team, but those are great plays for them to remember, and they need that feeling of disappointment, that feeling of losing that way, you're going to come out one of two ways. You're going to come out and you're going to work your butt off and become great and let that continually feed you, or you're going to give in. And I will say this: I have a bunch of guys that will never give in.
From your experience, like even from days, even when you aren't a head coach, but it's around team, like do you look at certain guys and go like that, like this is a guy that at the end of the game, he wants the ball, and other guys you go, I mean, he'd be a great player, but at the end of the game, I don't think he really he doesn't want that moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know that. I know Phil wants the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they're face guarding them and holding them, and it was hard to. I mean, trust me, he was our first option to look at on that, and I knew he. Really
but the other team knows that too.
Yeah, and they just weren't going to let him get the ball, and if they did, it would have been completely covered up. And because of that, but very unselfish of him, he set a great screen, and he came off his screen like he was going to get the ball. And, I mean, he ran the play perfectly. Those are great unselfish plays that no one's going to talk
exactly.
about, right? He and Trev, they literally set their screens perfect. Arnett set his screen perfect. Those guys did everything they were supposed to do to try to get the defense to react, and they did. And those are great unselfish plays that need to be rewarded more.
All right, I know it was tough last weekend, but you get to do it again this weekend. Same opponents, Sewanee and Center. Give everybody the details about the game, when it starts. And again, these are games that you can go to free of charge.
Yeah, as of right now, all depends on what we got going on with the water situation. But right now, 8 o'clock Friday night, 6 and 8 Friday, and then 1 and 3 Sunday.
That's the women first and then the men after. All right, Zoe, good stuff. Look for the bounce back. We'll talk about it next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
He is Zoe Goodson. He's the Rhodes head men's basketball coach. You can follow him on Twitter at Zoe Goodson. We talk Rhodes each and every Tuesday. During the football season, we'll talk football. During the basketball season, obviously, we're talking round ball. Right now, I'm talking hot wings, lunch, dinner. It's coming up, right? I know it's still morning, and people right now may be enjoying breakfast listening to the show, but before too long, you'll be hungry for lunch. And then for dinner, what do you want to bring home the family? Bring home some delicious hot wings from the Crazy Coop. You've tried the rest. You got to try the best if you haven't tried them yet. 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. 27 amazing chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop. You can go really hot like the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or the Crazy Suicide, or not so hot like the 4 Cheese Roasted Garlic or the Barbecue Bacon Bourbon. That's just 4 of the 27 amazing flavors that you can put on those whole wings, party wings, boneless wings. They also have those delicious chicken tenders. And at the Bartlett location, you get the full menu, including catfish sandwiches, half-pound burgers, all the great sides like the fried okra, the green tomatoes, the fried dill pickles. You can enjoy the games on their big screens over at the Crazy Coop, or you can just have that food carry out, have any of the delivery services delivered to your home or office. You can find out more about them on Instagram and Facebook, so why don't you go ahead and follow them. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Try them out and then let me know what you think. The Crazy Coop, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. When we come back, we got an open segment for the final 2 segments for the final 35 minutes of the show. We'll revisit some of the headlines from today and from yesterday. And if you want to chime in, 360-8255 is the number to call in or text in. 901-360-8255. That's the Sports 56 listener lines. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South T-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure? That's alarming! Fortunately, there's Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. It's specially formulated without alcohol, sugar, or decongestants to provide fast, powerful cold and flu symptom relief for people with high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, try DayQuil High Blood Pressure, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, colds, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed and keep out of reach of children.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience the Sissy's promise for yourself. Find a jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Let's make this the new year to drive your new Kia home from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Bobby J's waiting to put you in a new Kia today. So come hit the road with 41 MPG Highway and 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or get 7 passenger seating in a 2023 Kia Sorento LX. We Gossett at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And if you want your new ride to be a 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we Gossett at $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Kia today, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590. Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:30 the time. Final half hour for us today here on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Pete Thamel reporting that LSU is promoting quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan to the role of offensive coordinator and play caller. So Joe Sloan will be calling the offense for Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers. Speaking of guys named Kelly, Chip Kelly's name has popped up a lot in recent days for the NFL, but to my knowledge, no interviews with Chip Kelly. He's still at UCLA as they get ready to make the move to the Big Ten. But a name obviously is past. He's been in the NFL as a head coach, but Chip Kelly's name has surfaced according to several reports. Speaking of the NFL, this is interesting. This is a list of players, and by virtue of how many games they played and how much money they made for the season, the players with the highest earnings per game in 2023. Again, how many games they played, taking into consideration here to make this an interesting name at the top of the list. His base salary was $27 million. He played only 10 games. Number one on the list, Ryan Tannehill. He averaged $2.7 million per game. Think about that. Honey, I'm going to work. I'll bring home the bacon. I'll bring home more than that. I'll bring home the whole hog. $2.7 million per game was his average because he only played 10 games of his $27 million base salary. Second on that list is Grady Jarrett. $16.5 million was his base salary. He played in only 8 games, so he averaged a little over $2 million per game. $2,062,500 to be exact. Boy, that's some good coin if you can find it, right?
That's, I would imagine, was there not any backup quarterbacks that played no games and made more than $2 million?
Not according to that list. I don't know if they looked at backups. That was just a list of about 10 players, and Ryan Tannehill at the top. So I wonder where Tannehill will end up. I've often brought up the name Kirk Cousins. What will happen with Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, with some of these teams that are definitely in the market for a quarterback but aren't picking as high as some of the others? Because when you think about Caleb Williams, if that's the route that the Bears go, Caleb Williams will be starting from the get-go. That means Justin Fields will be dealt. Justin Fields could be a starter somewhere else. I thought he proved enough that you keep him, but they still obviously love going that route. Nothing's etched in stone. That's the route they'll go in. Caleb Williams made it pretty clear he doesn't want to go to Chicago, but we'll see what ends up happening there. But Justin Fields could be available. Tannehill, what's he got left in the tank? He's dealt with a lot of injuries. Cousins, I think, still has a lot left in the tank.
The Mel Kiper came out with his first mock draft of the year. He has 3 quarterbacks. He has top three picks all going quarterback. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, 1, 2, 3.
And who's picking 2 and 3 again? Remind me.
2 is Washington and 3 is New England.
So 2 Jaden Daniels to Washington, and then 3 to New England. Drake May. So that would mark the end of what's his name up there at quarterback. Didn't work out from Bama.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
He then also has J.J. McCarthy going at 16 to Seattle. That's his only other quarterback he has in the first round. So he has 4 total.
The over-under, I think, is going to be 4.5. Now, you had some quarterbacks that were expected to go. I don't know how high yours would have went. I would guess if he was projected first round, which would surprise me, he'd go, but he came back. Shedeur Sanders originally. Remember when Shedeur Sanders was lighting it up early in the season, and he was projected as the 3rd quarterback behind Caleb Williams and Drake May? Well, he's back at Colorado. A few other quarterbacks have decided to come back.
He has the Bears. If this was true, he has the Bears. Of course, they Williams, and he has them taking Rome Odunze with their other first round pick at number 9.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a nice little upgrade to your offensive side if you're getting Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze in the top 9 picks of the draft.
Who does Kiper have Atlanta taking? They're picking what, number 10?
They're at 8.
They're at 8.
He has Dallas Turner
from Alabama. Interesting, because that's the one with Desmond Ridder. But we talked about this the other day. If Belichick comes in, Harbaugh, it doesn't even matter who comes in there. I don't know if Ridder's long for being the starting quarterback in Atlanta. So that's when you go out and you get a veteran. If you can get Cousins, if you can get even Justin Fields in a deal, and then maybe draft a young quarterback later in the draft, because there's going to be some interesting names. Michael Penix is going to be an interesting name who will go more than likely at the very end of the first round or sometime in the second round.
He has Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way, going 4th. He's the first non-quarterback.
And that's to who?
That's to Arizona.
So it gives Kyler another weapon out there.
Then he has Malik Neighbors at 6. I mentioned Adunze at 9. This is a great group of wide receivers.
It really is. That's 3 in the top 9 picks.
Brian Thomas at 14. Keon Coleman at 15.
Okay, wait. 5 receivers, top 15 picks. When's the last time that happened? 5 receivers in the top 15 picks? Does he even have a running back in the first round? Probably doesn't.
No. Donnie Mitchell at 28. Troy Franklin at 29. So he has a total of, was that 7 receivers?
7 receivers. And Bowers.
And that still leaves like some really good receivers on the board. Like this group of receivers, man, I'm telling you.
Well, if the other Ohio State guy went, he would have went in the first round.
Those guys at the top are really elite. Like
Yes.
Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is the best player in the draft. But like Adunze, like these guys are elite. But there's still going to be so many like really good dudes in the second and third rounds.
Oh, where's he got Bowers going? Bowers is
Fifth.
basically a receiver that plays tight end.
He's got Bowers 5th.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the next Kelsey. You know, one of those guys. Gronk. He could be that good. Now, you got to avoid the injuries and things of that nature, but Brock Bowers is almost like having a receiver / tight end. So it's almost like having another receiver in that first round, which would be 6 in the top 15. That's nuts.
Chargers, if again, this is just a mock draft, but if this was true and that it was the Chargers drafting Brock Bowers, they just keep drafting weapons for Justin Herbert, hoping to get that or get it. But the problem is their defensive side was so bad this past year, they probably should be looking more at the defensive side.
Yeah, they should. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, there's been an NBA trade. The Charlotte Hornets are trading Terry Rozier to the Miami Heat for a 2027 first-round pick and Kyle Lowry, the former Memphis Grizzly. The Grizzlies are going to be playing in Miami tomorrow night.
You'll have to see if that is, I don't know if they'll get that deal done in time and Rozier will be in action or not, but.
Rozier's having a pretty good year. He's averaging 23.2 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, 3.9 rebounds per game. Wow, that's some pretty damn good numbers when you think about LaMelo Ball. Now, LaMelo Ball's been out with an injury, so I'm sure those numbers just skyrocketed when he went out, but he had to be doing something even when he was there to put up those type of numbers. I've always liked Rozier. I had no idea those numbers were that good.
Yeah, according to them, they said that Charlotte is not going to work on any immediate buyout for Kyle Lowry. I would assume there's still a chance down the road that might happen, but they may also move him again if there's somebody out there that might want a veteran point guard. But he said they are not planning an immediate buyout of Kyle Lowry.
Also, Woj reporting that former Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. has reached a plea agreement of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and harassment in the 2nd degree involving a case with his former girlfriend. Upon successful completion of the program after a year, Porter Jr. will be allowed to withdraw the plea to assault, according to his lawyers. All right, we need to take a break. We'll come back and get back into the Grizz and the Tigers. The Grizzlies in action tomorrow, as I mentioned, in Miami, but coming off a nice performance last night, a really good effort in the win against Toronto. They knocked off the Raptors 108-100. And for the Tigers, they dropped to 19th in the polls, but they're still right there in the top 25. I thought they may drop all the way out. They are preparing this week for UAB on Sunday in really what is, I know not technically, but it feels like a must-win after losing 2 straight. How is Penny getting the team ready? He had his coaches show last night on the radio, had some interesting things to say. We will discuss that when we return.
You need a tough, reliable tractor to tackle those tough chores. We'll go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment and check out that Case IH Farmall series of tractors that they have, along with much, much more. Bush hog equipment and so much more is what you'll find at Mid-South Ag Equipment. But the Case IH Farmall series, perfect for whatever it is you need to get done. Great value as well. You can find them just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, and you can also find them online at midsouthag.com. midsouthag.com. On the website, you can check out that full inventory, get all the information about all of the different equipment that they have, plus get any special deals that they've got going on. All of that information right there on the website at midsouthag.com. Go see them in person. Again, just south of Collierville. If you take I-269 to the Goodman Road exit, they are just a half-mile west. Easy to find, easy to get to. And go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has acres of new Chevys and GM certified in stock and ready for immediate delivery. A $6 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in secondary financing, and Sunrise is the home of guaranteed credit approval. Immediate financing available. Cars and trucks may not be free, but at least they're affordable at Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year, it's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats. All shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've also got lab-grown diamonds of the highest quality at prices way below what you see at other jewelers. We've also brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge, fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, things you can't find anywhere else. And of course, Genesis is proud to offer a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular models in stock. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2024 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
These were the comments made by friend of the show, Andy Kennedy, a couple of days ago in preparation for Sunday's game against Memphis. While Memphis has the week off to prepare for UAB solely, UAB actually has a game tonight at Charlotte. And Charlotte's played well, especially at home. So that'll be a challenge for the Blazers. But he's already looking ahead to Memphis. And he said, boy, we need some people in this building. What are we doing? We made this push to get into the American Conference. We got Memphis. I know our people feel a certain sort of way towards the Tigers. Man, I hope they show that. Come in here and make this thing rocking. And I have both seen this thing in the past. We're going to desperately need it, and I hope they show up for it. So you got a coach talking about a rivalry game rekindled, a rivalry rekindled in this particular game, and a guy who's coached against Memphis, so he knows all about it. But the point of Memphis being everybody's Super Bowl in this conference. Now, you could throw in Florida Atlantic as well. This is a team that went to the Final Four last year. So I'm sure the teams are getting up for visits from the Owls as well. But people laugh at that. Cal started that. Pastner talked about it. But it's absolutely true in this conference. Now, last year, Houston was the team, but still, when you play Memphis, you know you had to get up to play Memphis. But it was pretty evident with Tulane storming a court last week on Sunday, this past Sunday, for beating a team that was nationally ranked, but beating Memphis, a rival, for a third straight year, and with just those comments that Andy's made about this game. I would imagine that's the same wherever they are playing, where they have played to this point. Tulsa, I wasn't there. I don't think it was a huge crowd. It was during the holidays, but I imagine that every fan base gets up to play the best of the best in the conference. And right now, even though Memphis sits in 7th, we know where the Tigers are going in, the predictions and things of that nature. And Florida Atlantic, the same thing.
Last night at college basketball, North Carolina and Kansas were in action. North Carolina, they might be the best team in the country. With R.J. Davis playing the way he is, when you've got Baycott, now they don't have depth. Nope. That's what's crazy about these teams. Like North Carolina did get 9 bench points last night, but he's basically playing 6 guys, 7 guys. Kansas, they are literally a 5-man team. But you take those 5. you now if they battle foul, but like last night, Kansas, their bench took 1 shot in the game. They scored 2 points. That was the last 2 points of the game. A guy got fouled off the bench for the last 2 free throws of the game. With Cincinnati was fouling late in that game. But Bill Self, now Hunter Dickinson was in foul trouble last night, so we had to sit him for a little while. But the rest of their starters, 35 minutes, 36 minutes, 35 minutes, 37 minutes. Hunter Dickinson, 30 minutes because he was in foul trouble. And then anymore, you don't need depth. Get your 5 guys, maybe a 6th. Go with it. Roll with them. You could be really good. These are top 10 teams in the country. They don't have anybody. They don't care about anybody off the bench. You don't need anybody off the bench.
Well, don't get me started about that. I mean, I think about that also in the NBA, even though you got players that are capable coming off the bench and you're going to give your guys rests. But certainly, the back-to-back, the load management, it bugs me. It's basketball. They're playing basketball, for goodness sakes. But the difference is, the millions and millions and millions invested in the NBA game. College, there's now obviously financial commitments to a lot of these players, but you're playing a 40-minute game. Play the bulk of the minutes need to go to those best players. And If there are some players that aren't happy about it, so be it. You can't appease everybody. And I'm not saying that that's the case with Penny. He's done that in the past. I think now he's down a few players. He's down numbers because of the loss of Caleb Mills. And in that particular game, we're talking about the Tulane game, he lost Jaquan Walton to an injury. Naquan Tomlin was basically out most of the second half and then came back late with that eye thing going on. Malco fouled out. So a little bit different. But he has been criticized over the years for going really deep into his bench. And to me, you play these guys, these are the well-conditioned athletes, man. I don't know, sometimes they get plumb tuckered out, especially if you're pressing and going crazy, but Memphis hasn't really done that recently as far as just going nuts with their press. They've backed away from that for whatever reason. So these guys should be able to go minutes. And you look at Malco, who's always had issues with his knees, is as healthy as he's ever been, but still stamina and things come into play with him. 31 minutes, 31 and a half minutes in that game. So, yes, play your guys.
Barring foul trouble, every starter in college basketball should play over 30 minutes.
Yes.
And your best players should play 35 to 40 minutes. It's just like that's not asking much at all. Again, in the NBA, I get it. When you're playing 3 and 4 nights, stuff like that, traveling in between games, all of that stuff. I could see where it's going to wear a person out. College basketball, and even last night, I mean, that's Kansas playing the second time in 3 days because they're playing the big Monday game. So you've played Saturday, Monday, but they're going to be off again till Saturday or Sunday. So these kids, certainly in a 40-minute game with the amount of timeouts and the length of these timeouts now. If I'm a college coach, I'm going with the idea that y'all are playing 40 minutes until I find out differently because you got in foul trouble or you tell me you got to come out of the game.
I agree, but come on, with the NBA, they're first of all, they're on chartered flights. They're playing cards, for goodness sakes. I mean, these are the best conditioned athletes in the world, these basketball players. Load management has gone way over the top, but to me, it's not because these guys are tired or can't go a particular night. It's all about the commitment financially that they made to these players. And they're afraid that, in a game where they should roll an opponent by 30, why waste this guy? Why play him? Save him. And we'll come up with a cockamamie ankle or knee sprain injury on the injury list.
Folks, the new year is here. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and Genesis Diamonds have a lot of great things happening. They're ready to help you celebrate whatever special occasion it is. But, of course, Valentine's Day is a very special one with better value, higher quality, and uncompromising customer care. They've got expanded selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from half carat all the way up to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, whatever it is, whatever budget you have. They've got something for you at Genesis Diamonds. Natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, everything you can imagine at prices way below what you'll see at other jewelries because they take out the middleman. These are direct importer prices that you're going to find at Genesis Diamonds. The selection is out of this world. The prices are out of this world. And the service you get, it's not commission salespeople. They're not there to pressure you. They're to educate you to become a better diamond buyer. Know what you're looking for. Tell you what you're looking for. What affects price. Much of that stuff. They're just going to educate you in the entire diamond buying process. So celebrate Valentine's Day and any special occasion in 2024 with the help of Genesis Diamonds. Located at Poplar and Perkins Extended, Poplar Commons Shopping Center, Genesis Diamonds.
So Penny had his weekly radio show last night at Brookhaven Pub and Grill. Some of the things that he said: we set out to do something special at the beginning of the season. We have to regroup. We're looking to play for something way bigger than the conference title. He talked about the loss of Caleb Mills, says it isn't just the defensive impact Mills brought that is missing, but that Mills was Tiger's emotional leader and someone who would speak up in team huddles. Now we have no one speaking up in the huddle. Well, he said the other day they were speaking up, but they were speaking to each other and not about the opponent they were playing. But yeah, I think the Caleb Mills injury has impacted them to a certain degree. Penny says even though the Tigers went on a 10-game winning streak, there were a lot of games where it felt like we lost in the locker room afterward because of the team's rough performances. He said the great thing is we haven't really scratched the surface of what we're going to be. Yeah, but they're going in the opposite direction. That's got to be rectified. He believes this week off before UAB on Sunday will allow the Tigers to again come together and get on the same page. I think he's right about that, but he has no alternative. It has to be that way. He said, He gave the Tigers yesterday off, but this week will be one of the toughest weeks of practices for his team. Says he's taken it too easy on the group to this point in the season. We really didn't practice like we usually do. This week, it's going to be a good week. So again, Camp Penny, like in the tradition of Camp Cow. Work these guys, get their minds right, their bodies right, but get their minds right for what's ahead of them. They can still, again, moving up, I'm not sure. But if you sweep Florida Atlantic and win the rest of your games, you're going to move up, and you'll probably be. What do you think now is the ceiling? And we'll talk to Jerry about this tomorrow. What do you think the ceiling for a seed is for Memphis now? 5?
There's way too much variables of other teams to know.
But after those 2 losses, you don't think they can get as high as a top 4 seed, right? That's over.
Yeah, I think they could.
Do you really? Wow.
Other teams are probably going to lose a lot, but we don't know who those are and how much they're going to lose.
Except some of those teams, a lot of those teams, the power conference teams, they can lose 4, 5, 6 times compared to the Memphis 2 or 3, and then you're in the the wrong side of the bracket because you were not given the benefit of the doubt playing in the conference you're playing in. Again, that's understandably so. All right, that'll do it for us today. We appreciate you listening, folks. We want to thank our guests, Connor O'Gara, Jeff Crane, and Zoe Goodson. We're back tomorrow starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Speaking of Memphis Tigers basketball, Andy Borman will join us at 8:05, Tigers assistant coach. We'll talk with Jerry Palm at 8:25, his latest bracketology. His brackets are out. It came out on Monday. Check that out. He has Memphis as a 7th seed. And then DeMichael Cole at 9:05 on the Memphis Grizzlies, who are back in action tomorrow night against the Miami Heat. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli and Zach, I'm Greg. Enjoy your day, everybody.
Believe